Lost in the Script, episode 88, The Black Plague.
All right. Another week, y'all. Another week, another Saturday here. What up, George? Hey, Duke, I see you got Travis pose on the cover. But it's okay. I'm ready to get some education.
He said you got what?
He said there's you pose on the cover.
George, you're a fucking stalker. How you... That is not me on the
Lord.
the cover.
Anyway, man, how y'all been? Hopefully you had a good week. Hopefully you had the least stressful week. Was able to make it to your Saturday, and hopefully you got some
Today
peace.
is that wicked holiday.
What wicked holiday?
It's New Year's Eve, ain't it? No,
Yeah,
New Year's Eve is tomorrow. Is today the 30th or the 31st?
Look at you.
Oh, no.
Today the 31st, man.
Okay, today is that wicked holiday.
Somehow we landed right before Christmas. Christmas Eve.
Because it fell on Saturdays. It's not a big...
And then we landed right before New Year's, man.
It happens.
Anyway, hopefully y'all had a good week, like I said. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday where you're able to rest. Go ahead and get right into it. We're going to talk about a few things as usual. We made Saturday of 2022. Hey, Duke and Travis, salute. How you doing, Regina? Joe said all black folk look alike.
Not all black folks look alike.
Okay. He don't know what day it is.
No, I don't know what day it is.
Hey, I don't keep up with the holidays either, man. I be forgetting some of these days. I ain't gonna lie. But, you know, it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bill Cosby. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't think we would ever have to see a headline like this ever again. Because they almost got him up out of here. He kind of got out of jail on the technicality. Apparently, that's what they call it. The system was unfair to him, they say. So he was able to get out.
No,
what up, Uncle? What up, man? Peace to you, bro. Huh?
He had to go through his ritual of getting locked up and being released like everybody else does.
I don't think I need that ritual.
R. Kelly hoping.
Yeah, R. Kelly was praying. R. Kelly praying. He praying that something happens, some shenanigans.
Dropping albums in jail or prison.
And then they kicked him off of Spotify too, and what's called Apple.
Yeah, they can't have that type of divisive.
He put out an album called
music.
I Admit It. That's crazy. But anyway, Bill Cosby plans a tour in 2023.
Somebody gonna help him on the stage?
Well, yeah, they used to help him on stage before he got
Do you anybody want to see a Bill Cosby tour?
Well, I mean, nobody really paid attention to Bill. I mean, no offense, you know, Bill Cosby hasn't been like. I can't remember the last time somebody was like, "I need to see this Bill Cosby stand up."
Didn't Richard Pryor tell Bill to shut the fuck up and go have a coconut smile?
That's what. Unfortunately, that's kind of the main reason why most people got their idea of Bill Cosby is Eddie Murphy talking. No, actually, Eddie Murphy talking to Richard Pryor, who was talking shit about. Tell him to have a coconut damn smile and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, too much profanity. He wasn't for the profanity that was being used.
Sorry, but I couldn't help it, but and shake my head when I first saw the headline the other day. Yeah, I don't know what Bill Cosby's plan is. I don't know if he's gonna have this long. And let me say this: there's people gonna go see him. Let me tell you something. They say the best comedy comes from pain. He's had a lot of stuff going on with him the last couple of years.
Should have a good show.
He should have a fantastic. It should be easy to write this. Easy. This would be the easiest writing he's done ever.
As long as somebody help his blind ass get on the stage.
On that too, but I mean, he can get on stage and just sit down. I don't know if it'd even be that type of tour. It might be something different he has planned. I don't know.
The Bitches Line tour. Chris Brown.
Point of the matter is, where is this going to go in the industry? Who's going to allow him to be booked in their clubs?
They're going to definitely get some pushback.
Because there's a lot of people going to move on. Like, we're gonna cancel this. The second people find out he's gonna be at a certain show, it will be canceled.
We'll see.
How far would this go? And how far would the industry allow him to go with his tour? Once again, it doesn't say comedy tour; it says tour. So it might be more like a
meet and greet.
Might be like a speaking site. You know how Dave Chappelle the last few years hasn't really been doing comedy. He's been kind of doing,
Political.
Giving his viewpoints on society, on certain current events and stuff. That might be what Bill Cosby does. And
it wasn't me.
Yeah, people are going to go see him. Yeah, they definitely go see him, especially the older black people or older people in general. You got to remember, a lot of people. This is Bill Cosby. This is Cosby Show. Like this is a big deal. This man was
the pudding.
He meant a lot to them. So people definitely gonna go see him. Let me
hope you make all the money you can make on your press tour, Mr. Cosby.
Bill Cosby is eyeing a return and touring in 2023. The controversial comedian said said much during the surprise December 28 radio interview on WGH Talk with host Scott Spears. Cosby answered yes when asked if 2023 is a year he finally might be able to tour again. Cosby, now 85, was convicted in Pennsylvania. We know all that. He said, when I come out of this, I feel like I'll be able to perform and be the Bill Cosby that my audience knows me to be, Cosby told Spears.
I don't know.
I don't know. 85? What's the normal age that a comedian kind of hangs it up? As far as stand-up, they might still do movies, but stand-up. I feel like it's usually around 60 something.
That's what I was about to say, 60, but I don't know.
Responding to Spears' question about whether 2023 might be touring year, Cosby responded, yes, because there's so much fun to be had in this storytelling that I do. Years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I found it was better to say it after I write it. Cosby Representative Andrew Watt confirmed to Variety that the comedian is looking at spring, summer to start touring. Early this month, 5 women filed a new sexual assault lawsuit against NBC and Bill Cosby under the New York state law that temporarily suspends the statute of limitations for older sexual assault claims. The women allege that Cosby either raped them or forced them into sexual acts. 4 of the allegations date from the late 1980s or 1990. When the actor was at his height of his fame and a star card of The Cosby Show on NBC, the 5th allegation involves Sandra Ladd, a former Hollywood executive, who accused Cosby of raping her in 1969. Watt claimed the lawsuit frivolous and said the 5 women were part of a parade of accusers who had come forward between 2014 and 2016. 5 more?
Hell, it's at 100 now, ain't it?
I think it's at 50 something. Jesus, they just piling on.
So this was 1969.
Yeah,
the hippie.
This was just at that in the midst of the hippie thing.
The thigh openers.
That's what Hugh Hefner called them, thigh openers. I ain't gonna say what happened, but we all know what more than likely happened. An executive.
What the hell the executive doing on the casting couch? She part of the casting.
You would think he'd be on her couch. But I don't know. We'll see.
She wanted to see what all the ladies were talking about to get an upfront personal experience.
I don't know. But like I said, more than likely, this won't go as planned. This probably won't go as planned. They're going to be all on his ass every show. He's going to be he's going to go viral a little bit if he want it. He's going to get it because they definitely going to make a story out of him one way or another. But anyway. Apple faces class action lawsuit claiming racial bias. What's up with all these big companies, these tech companies being hit with these type of lawsuits? Tesla got hit with it too, Elon Musk.
Because black people like suing nowadays.
And they said, well, Elon Musk and Tesla, they said that the Mexicans were the ones terrorizing them. Putting the N-word on the wall, their bosses being racist towards them. They had a particular part of the damn factory or warehouse that the black people worked in that they called the plantation. That's the Mexicans.
They continue to work there knowing it was called a plantation. So
now you got Apple. A new class action lawsuit has been filed against Apple in the Southern District of New York, alleging that the Apple Watch's blood oxygen sensor is racially biased against individuals with dark skin complexions. The plaintiff, Alex Morales, argues that he purchased the Apple Watch between 2020 and 2021 and was aware that the watch purported to measure blood oxygen levels, and he believed it did this without regard to skin tone, according to the lawsuit. Morales filed a lawsuit on December 24th on behalf of the New York customers who brought the Apple Watch during the statute of limitations. He accused the Apple of breach of express warranty, fraud, and unjust enrichment, claiming violations of New York business general business law and state consumer fraud acts. So basically, he sued him because he said he bought the watch, and that in particular, if black people used this watch to gauge their blood oxygen levels, that it would actually cause them harm. That if you are a quote unquote dark skinned person and you use this watch to judge your blood oxygen levels, it could actually lead to injury and health problems. So we need to sue Apple for not doing something about this, making sure that this actually protects the people that use it. So he's saying it's racial bias because it affects dark skinned people.
He's suing them to improve the watch, or
I think he's
or to get a bag.
The lawsuit claims that research confirmed the clinical significance of racial bias in pulse oximetry using records of patients taken before the pandemic. Before the filing of the lawsuit by Morales, Apple faced scrutiny in 2015 when users complained that black wrist tattoos interfered with their device's heart sensor. In response, they released a statement informing the public that permanent or temporary changes to your skin, such as some tattoos, can also impact heart rate sensor performance. Some tattoos, ink, pattern, and saturation can block light from the sensor, making it difficult to get reliable readings. Apple declined to comment on Monday, but the tech giant's website states that the Blood Oxygen app is only designed for general fitness and wellness purposes. Measurements are not intended to be medical use, including self-diagnosis or consultation with the doctor.
But that's their way out. It was never designed to be a medical use. It was for fitness and health.
So you think this is a bullshit lawsuit that's gonna get thrown out?
Yes.
I can't lie. It is kind of like when they already said they had this problem in 2015, as you saw, when it said that people with tattoos on their wrist cause problems.
And that's the people with tattoos problem.
Yeah, hold on.
If you have a tattoo, you shouldn't have bought it. I don't know what to say.
What? Sorry about that. Hold on. Let's go right quick here. What would Bill say to Bill about this? Much as he's had to say back in the day. Yeah, he was very critical, particularly of the black community and how they carried themselves in certain aspects. But we've already talked about that. How would he feel about someone being accused of assault as much as he has? What he was accused of, how, out there he was with women, clearly. He had many women.
He was a sex addict. So
would he have had some words for himself the same way he did for black people about sagging pants and all this
further.
Stuff? Go ahead.
He's a necromancer. If the women are claiming what is true and he was giving them thigh openers and quaaludes and they were passed out, that means he wanted people unconscious.
Necrophilia, yeah.
Necrophilia.
Yeah. If he wanted those people that like women to be
not conscious.
Yeah, unconscious, yeah.
Sicko.
Travis, this would be lying to him.
Y'all remember when Chris Brown put those shirts out?
Oh yeah,
the bitches lying.
Bitches be lying.
Bill saw the shirt and said, "Oh,
it's a good idea, son.
Great tour name."
Shit,
I'm gonna have to take that one from you, Chris.
He better leave that alone because they already want to get him still. All right, hold on. Another story that became. This is a person who I don't really watch his content, but he's obviously very.
I didn't know he was.
He's
until
very
about a month
viral.
ago.
He goes viral all the time for stuff he say. He's pretty much replaced. You can kind of say he replaced the Kevin Samuels niche. Yeah, the Kevin Samuels niche, talking about women, relationships, and all that other stuff. I don't know all his content. So I don't know the other things he talk about. I've only seen a few clips of him. But now he's going viral for another reason. Andrew Tate. What you want to say? Say what you got to say.
No, I don't got nothing to say.
You just looking at me like I'm crazy. What I say wrong? I'm describing who he is. Damn.
I don't think he Kevin Samuels.
I didn't say he's Kevin Samuels. I said he's took over. He's created a niche like that, where he talk about relationships and women and stuff, and he has a very large following for it. Controversial internet personality Andrew Tate and his brother detained for a month in Romania.
Storyline.
Now, him and his brother was detained, allegedly for Andrew Tate, I don't know, in particular, for rape and human trafficking.
I just saw the human trafficking. I didn't see the rape part.
Now they're saying rape and human trafficking. As a matter of fact, it's funny because I remember I was watching a clip during the Brexit fiasco over in the UK, and one of the PMs was asked a question about why he wants Brexit to happen. They were talking about immigration. He was like, well, how would you feel if a Bulgarian or a Romanian family lived next to you? He was like, I wouldn't feel safe with them around my family, my children. And he was basically talking about human trafficking.
Yeah.
Somehow in Eastern Europe, it's known for human trafficking to be a big thing. So it's funny because he's in Romania. That was in I think the country he was talking about was Bulgaria or one of those countries. So it's funny he got accused of this, but it's not even that he just got accused of this. First off,
go ahead, point it out.
I started looking at Andrew Tate's some of the pictures he's posted, and if you pay attention to what these people do, he does a lot of. And it's funny enough, he actually talk about this Illuminati and all this stuff. I haven't even used that word in years because that doesn't even seem real to me anymore. Because when you really learn about what's going on, they're not going to tell you about a secret society and put a name on it. But anyway, he talks about the Illuminati and all that stuff, but he always doing these Freemason hand signs.
Because his dad is a Freemason.
I don't know, but apparently his dad is African American. I don't know how true that is, but I saw pictures of him. It seemed like it's true. But he does these hand signs, and his brother in particular, when they got arrested, this is the hand sign he was doing. And I just thought, you get arrested for human trafficking, and apparently
some boys are like the barge.
I also saw that they said that they weren't arrested for human trafficking and rape. That's not true. They were actually arrested for money laundering. So I don't see multiple stories come out of this. They're not arrested anymore. They've been released, but they're apparently detained for 30 days while the investigation continues. Then they said he got caught because he was responding to Greta Thunberg, however you say her name. Because he ordered pizza.
She is available. She's 19 years of age now.
He ordered pizza from a particular restaurant, so that's how they said they tracked down where he was. But then they said that's not true. That's not how they tracked him down. They already knew where he was and they were already coming. But I don't know. But then Greta, and this made the storyline even more interesting, how he ended up having a back and forth with her via videos, and she right after he was arrested, she actually made a tweet saying something to him, dissing him. I even saw Cardi B say something. And
the turtle?
Yeah, Cardi B say something. And then she retweeted a picture of Greta. I just thought, who is this Greta girl? Like, she's been around for a few years now, talking about climate change and all that other shit. But
yeah, she's from Germany.
She's gained such popularity that celebrities in America who probably could give two shits about those topics feel the need to tweet about her.
She's trying to save the world. Greta is trying to save the world.
That's all you got. She's trying to save the damn world.
She's trying to save the world.
So what does this do when you put Andrew Tate and Greta in the same storyline? This is what they call him, the misogynistic, aggressive, accused of domestic violence man, and she's the 19-year-old girl who's all about climate change and saving the world.
Oh, you want me to say something? I don't really care.
Judge won't drop charges for former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum.
The same Andrew Gillum that had his ass spread on the floor?
Yes. A federal judge in Florida has refused to throw out criminal charges against Andrew Gillum, disagreeing with former Democratic gubernatorial nominees asserting that he was a victim of selective prosecution because he was a black candidate for governor.
Oh, he bringing out the black card.
Yeah, he used that black card quick. Gillum and a colleague were indicted earlier this year for federal charges including conspiracy, wire fraud, and making false statements to FBI agents. Prosecutors said Gillum funneled donations through third parties back to himself for personal use. Now, the biggest story that came out when the things fell off on him was the pictures in the hotel room with the male prostitute. But he's been in charge of totally different. Like, there was nothing about that got him arrested. There's nothing about that got him any charges or anything. Now, you brought up earlier, did he do the Clinton?
He did the Clinton.
Release something else to cover up another story?
A bigger story. That's what he did. He'd rather put out, him doing what he did.
According to prosecutors, Gillum met with undercover FBI agents posing as developers while he was mayor of Tallahassee during his campaign for governor. His associates sought donations from the agents and suggested ways to provide money without listing them as political contributions, including paying for a fundraising dinner, according to the indictment. Gillum has pleaded not guilty and denied the charges, saying they were politically motivated. Saying the defendant's arguments were meritless, U.S. District Judge Alan Windsor last week dismissed 4 motions from the defendant challenging the continuation of the prosecution. Are they really going to send him to jail?
If he did all those things, yes, he should go to jail.
I didn't say should. I said, are they going to send him to jail? Or is this, like he said, just political?
I think he might actually do some time.
Why is that? Plenty of people get caught with stuff. Hell, look, man, this is how you know they know who they're going to protect and who they're not going to protect. Because we still wondering why so many pieces of electronics, information has been put out, and certain intelligence agencies still ain't moved in on it.
Because they're involved with it. Why would they move in on it when they're being told not to?
They probably involved in this. They said that he was trying to get it was undercover FBI agents he was trying to do business with. They were using him to money launder probably. But they gonna let him take the bullet.
Sorry. You're a Negro. You're on your own.
All right. I had it open twice. Oh no, okay. Hold on. Bill definitely was a necromancer. Secret societies could be the secret. There is no secret at all, hidden in plain sight and allowed. Yeah, that's their thing. They don't really like to hide stuff. They purposely do it publicly so that you see it, and you knowing about it justifies their behavior. They don't want to hide it. He amazing for sure. Greta is even real. She remind me of the MK Ultra bot.
She definitely
remind me of, she remind me of, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg. She remind me of Mark Zuckerberg.
She might be a spy.
She just seems like she's not quite there with you in the moment.
What's the name? They have that Asperger's?
Yeah, Asperger's.
That's what she seemed like she has.
Well, that's what they said she got.
Okay.
They said she got that, but who knows? All right, let me Okay, we're gonna get to his ass. As laws banning sleeping on state-owned land looms, homeless advocates dread results. Now, this is in Missouri. What they're doing in Missouri is they have a law stopping homeless people from sleeping on state-owned land.
It's like define state-owned land.
That would have to be like courthouses, hospitals, and stuff like that.
They shouldn't be sleeping on.
But if you ban them from sleeping in places like that, wouldn't parks be considered state-owned too? So if you stop them from sleeping there, where do you think they're gonna go? Where they go where people at? They're gonna go to the suburbs and
the people gonna do what? Complain.
It's gonna get worse. Those people are already complaining. That's the part that.
So you guys caused this pandemic, which put a lot of people lost their jobs. They refused to take the vaccines, and now you're telling them you can't come to government
dictate
where you can sleep and be, but we're not going to help you.
Exactly. Starting January 1st, sleeping, camping, or having long-term shelter on state-owned land will be illegal in Missouri. So I guess they would go for like camping grounds too, right? Some camping grounds are
state-owned.
So parks. So anybody who likes to RV camping in RVs and stuff, if you decided to stay there extended, that's illegal now. And you know, I remember I saw what they call it, a city council meeting, because I watch those sometimes because they're funny. And there was one where it was an elder people, it had to be like 40, 50 people, and they lived in RVs on camping ground. And the city was trying to get them off the thing that, why would you do this? No one's out there. Why can't we just be out there? These are older people who live in the RVs. They live there. If you make them leave there, they're going to be homeless. So this is almost comparable to that. I forgot what city council meeting that was.
Did they want to take the land and develop it and turn it into something, or they just wanted them off the land?
Well, according to them, they just wanted them off the land. Maybe they'll say they wanted to develop something. I don't know. The change is a result of a new law in Missouri legislator passed this year. The law requires cities and counties to enforce the ban and gives the attorney general the ability to act against those who don't. Now, this is just in Missouri. What happens when this reaches California? What happens when this reaches black areas, predominantly black areas?
Well, Karen Bass is trying to help the homeless people.
Whatever she says, she's saying that. But if this gets there, which once again, more than likely, this is not going to be a law that ends up in California. Or
here.
Or Seattle. Or Washington, should I say. But if this type of things did reach there, it wouldn't go well for the local population. They'll be pushed deeper into the suburbs and disrupt, hell, even apartments and stuff like that. Any residential area will be disturbed even more.
Oh, like it is now?
But this a few days into the law goes into effect, shelters and nonprofits are preparing for how it will further burden the homeless populations in the state. Kathy Connors, executive director of Gateway 180 Homeless Services, said the law has created panic and worry. It's definitely going to extend the stress resources that are available, particularly in the area of outreach. It's just going to create much more stress on the system. For the St. Louis area, Connors said, while shelters have pretty good handle on how many beds are available, they're still likely to fall short of the need. Now, it's cold. We're going into January.
Well, they should have, I'm pretty sure they have homeless shelters open. A lot of these homeless people do not like to go and be in these homeless shelters because you have a curfew. There's certain things that they may, require you to do
and stuff. Yeah,
and they don't want to follow rules. So if you cold enough and desperate enough, you'll follow the rules.
Well, it's funny because just around November, Mayor Adams faces backlash for a move to involuntarily hospitalize homeless people. Now, here it says hospitalized, but in another article it said he wanted them arrested off the streets, homeless people.
How can you hospitalize a homeless person?
Well, they'll say that some of these people who are homeless are mentally ill.
Some are.
So
not all.
The cops, your job is to get them off the street and put them in a hospital. Have them psychologically analyzed. And it is what it is. So this homeless problem is becoming such a big deal that in some places, this is a Democrat. They're just like, arrest them, put them in the jail, put them in the hospitals, and give them somewhere to stay because we can't have them on the streets because people are complaining about them. It's getting worse and worse and worse. More and more people are becoming homeless.
Have you seen the videos in Philly?
Yeah, Philadelphia is bad. That might be the worst one I've seen.
They're the worst one, for sure.
You're a smart cookie. All right.
Chocolate chip. That's everybody's favorite. Chocolate chip cookies, except for mine. I like oatmeal.
Yeah, because you just try to be different. Oh, I want to do this first. Sorry.
Oatmeal raisin, to be exact.
What happened to Sinzae Reed, a 13-year-old black boy shot and killed by a white man who is now free? Months later, we still don't know why Sinzae was shot or why his alleged killer is free. This case don't make no sense. I show you. We already saw this. We went over this. So apparently, a mother says that her son were in the house. She was in the kitchen talking. He came out of his room, spoke with her about something, went back in his room, came back out, spoke with her some more. She thought he went back into his room, but instead she didn't know he went outside.
Next thing out the door.
Yeah, he went out the door. Next thing she knows, someone runs into the house and tell her that her son has been shot. She goes outside. He's laying on the ground with a gunshot wound, and they tell her that some white dude who they knew the guy's name. They knew him. Craig. They kept saying his name Craig, so obviously the neighborhood knew him, saying Craig shot him. So apparently this man hopped out his car for whatever reason we don't know and shot this 13-year-old boy. Was it 6 times?
I think, but didn't they say that the Craig dude said he had a weapon?
Yeah, they said he had a weapon, even though there was no weapon there. No one saw no gun. So he just hopped out the car and shot him, and then got in his car and left. Somebody on the scene said he came after he shot him and left. He came back and shot him some more. I said, hold on, that's just, every time somebody died, no offense, but black people like to add stuff on.
They like to embezzle, make the story more. They like to decorate it.
Yeah, He said October 12th, 13-year-old Sinzae Reed was allegedly shot and killed by 36-year-old Craig A. Butler Sr. in Columbus, Ohio, according to the Columbia Dispatch. The Franklin County prosecutor office initially charged Butler with murder, but a week later, October 19th, prosecutors filed to dismiss the case in municipal court. More than 2 months later, Sinzae's family only knows one detail regarding why Butler is walking free today. So he says self-defense, and they actually let him out. 13.
This is a weird story.
This case don't make sense. It's just
weird.
Yeah.
I would think that they would be doing marching and protesting and all this stuff there.
It's not even that. You would think that there's no way he's getting out shooting a 13-year-old. That's how. There has been a claim of self-defense. Columbus Police Homicide Detective Keith O'Connor said back in October. O'Connor said the claim was made by Butler and his mother, but declined to comment further. So Butler was with his mom in the car. So a 13-year-old walked out the house, had a gun on him, and just tried to rob you and what did he try to do to you? For you to just hop out the car and shoot him. And then you didn't shoot him while you were in the car. So was he a neighbor?
It's hard to analyze a story when you're giving vague details.
Oh, yeah.
So.
He said, now here's what Megan said happened. Megan Reed, this is his mother. Megan Reed told the North Carolina Beat. North Carolina Beat, by the way, is the same website that put out the Shaquilla Robinson story of the woman in Mexico who was beaten to death by her friends, apparently. Even though I don't even think nobody has been arrested in that case officially. But that on Wednesday, October 12, 2022, her son, 13-year-old Sinzae Reed, said he wasn't feeling well. Megan said she told her son that it was probably because of the air he sleeps under with the fan in his bedroom window. She said Sinzae returned to his room and later came back out while she was cooking, had a conversation. After Sinzae and his mother, Megan, finished talking, he left the kitchen and returned to his room. Megan said the next thing she knew, someone came banging on the door. She said a neighbor told her that Sinzae had been shot. Megan said she didn't know that her son had gone outside because he was just in the kitchen having a conversation before he went back in his room. I didn't even know he went outside until he knocked at my door telling me he had been shot. When Megan got to where her son was lying with gunshot wounds, she said witnesses started telling her that 36-year-old Craig A. Butler Sr. was responsible. As soon as I got over there, everybody was like, Craig did it, Craig did it. According to Megan, witnesses told her that Craig allegedly shot Sinzae and then came back around and reshot him multiple times. Megan said Butler fled the scene, but was later captured and arrested at his house the next day. She also said Butler reportedly claimed that her son had a gun, but she didn't see a weapon when she went to the scene, and no witnesses saw a gun either. Now, that is a weird wording. Saying you didn't see a gun versus saying my son don't have a gun. That's kind of weird thing. I didn't see no gun. No, did your son ever have a gun? Like, you should have been like, my son, he's 13, he don't got no damn gun.
A lot of details missing out of the story. I'm going to hold my...
Wait until more information
come out.
The dispatch confirmed that according to the court record, the eyewitness who knows Butler told police they saw him exit a red truck, shoot Sinzae multiple times, get back into his truck and drive off, which makes it all more perplexing that Butler is free with no charges. Then what the final point they made was not every case initiated in municipal court is presented to a grand jury. The press release said, according to the dispatch, this particular case is still under review for possible presentation to the grand jury, and unfortunately, I cannot advise you when a case will be presented to the grand jury. Months later, we still don't know why Sinzae was shot, or why his alleged killer was free, but what the hell happens here? There's a lot of stuff missing from this case. A lot of stuff.
Move on.
Just move. Oh, you scared you're going to say something? Now this is their judge there that made the decision according to them, but I don't think he's the one who made the final decision. This is the person everybody going at on social media. I don't know about that. January 6th response would have been vastly different if rioters were black, House Sergeant of Arms told investigators. William J. Walker, who was the head of the D.C. National Guard during the insurrection, also indicated that he thought more people in the crowd would have died if the mob had been largely black instead of overwhelmingly white.
I am so tired of them talking about the January 6th insurrection.
It's so crazy that we're calling it an insurrection now. We're just calling it that. We're going along with it. That's how propaganda works.
I don't think it's an insurrection. I'm just saying what, you know.
My point is they've gotten your mouth to say something your mind don't believe.
Why do we have to do shoulda, coulda, wouldas? It was white people that went out there.
There's a few black people. One black dude, he made an album cover out of it. He got 5 months, I think.
Why do we have to say if it was black people? Let's not do shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Who was out there? Who was out there? Why are we trying to compare the two?
Well, I also believe that if it was Antifa, Black Lives Matter, or those left-leaning groups, that the Republicans would be calling it a attempted coup and would be asking for them all to be arrested the same way.
No, yesterday you said they would have called it an insurrection.
Same thing.
They would have not called it an insurrection.
Maybe not. They definitely would have called it attempted coup.
They would have been calling them thugs and all different types of things.
And they would have called it attempted coup.
But they would have not called it an insurrection.
Would they have called for their arrest?
Yes, they would have.
Exactly.
So.
They would have did the same thing.
But they wouldn't have called it no insurrection. The Democratic Party is calling it insurrection so that Donald Trump cannot run as president again. This is what this is all about.
Of course, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying the same way the Republicans are acting like this is just a small deal and that this is not something that should require people to go to jail. If all those people in the crowd were left-leaning, they would be saying arrest them. So both political sides will be playing this up as a big, big deal. As a matter of fact, the Republicans will be saying, look at this. They tried to perform a coup on the country. You have to vote for us even more and all this other stuff. They would have wanted to put more laws, strict laws down, all type of stuff. Hell, during 2020, during the George Floyd protests, riots, whatever you want to call it, they were calling for martial law. Republicans were calling for martial law. Both sides will do the same exact thing. The same way you got the Democrats saying how these these what would you call them, right-leaning groups, far-right groups need to be arrested and treated as terrorists. It's the same way the Republicans would do to the left-leaning groups, these far-left groups. It's all a political game.
They wouldn't have said the word insurrection.
That's all you worried about. They would say an insurrection. They probably would have called it a damn insurrection.
Oh, now you're going to say what you really want to say.
They probably would have called it that. They both play the same. They got the same book. Hold on. And since you don't want to talk about the comparison of who's the real threat,
the reason why
people bring it up is because they know who the real threat is. This pissed me off. Travis old ass Major loving some oatmeal cookies. He probably loved prune juice or porridge.
My old ass, I ain't old. You old.
My husband and son both love oatmeal cookies too, Travis.
Thank you, Regina. Black people like oatmeal.
What? Thank you that somebody else likes something you like. What?
Black people like oatmeal cookies too.
I didn't say black people don't like oatmeal cookies. Who said that?
No, all y'all eat is chocolate chip.
I like,
What you eat besides chocolate chip?
That don't matter.
Exactly.
These are American horror stories. Exactly. It's a very suspicious story. Like I said, not gonna jump out on them.
Oh, you wanted to.
We'll see. I remember you was asking who his dad. Where's Daddy at?
Yeah, where's Daddy at?
His dad clearly don't live with him. Or maybe he was at work. I don't know. But I
wanted to see the father because the little boy looked a little.
Well, it was in Ohio.
He looked a little. He looked a little.
Little what?
Non-Negro-ish.
Oh, here we go. Not a little boy, not a Negro.
Yeah, I want to see if his father was black. To be honest with you. Oh.
No, we're not about to go into that yet. Hold on. I made an accident.
No.
We're going to talk about who the real threat is.
Who the real threat?
Now, this is a video of Jake Paul, big YouTuber turned boxer, or celebrity boxer. He put out a video on social media of him boxing a black dildo.
big YouTuber that like big black dildos hitting them. That's what Jake Paul like.
That's what he doing. And the first thing everybody said when they saw this is ISIS papers. How you say her name? I always forgot to say her name. Dr.
Francis.
Chris Wilson.
That's her.
Her ISIS papers not predicted, but it showed us the obsession these people have with the manhood of black men. I'm gonna mute it because you ain't gotta hear it. 20 million views, by the way.
Well, you know who the 20 million views came to see it.
Now, what is the point of him putting this on the internet? What is the point of him even doing this? Forget letting people know he did it. Why is he doing it? I think this is sister or mother or something. And he says, no days off, keep my reflexes sharp, Merry Christmas. Now, keep in mind, I told you that he's a YouTuber turned boxer. And he said, keeping my reflexes sharp. So he perceived clearly black men as his biggest threat in boxing, right? Or is that in life in general?
Life in general.
The ISIS papers explain all this stuff. The people in the comment section obviously reacted with, what the hell are you doing? So.
Oh, man, these people are obsessed. Why are you so obsessed? Why are you so obsessed with us? It's ridiculous. And, you know, whatever black man seeing him walking down the street should whoop his ass.
What?
They should whoop his ass.
Why you want to put hands on people?
Because he deserved to get hands put on him.
For what? If anything, you need to stay the hell away from him.
Why do you stay away from him?
Because clearly he on some weirdo stuff.
Yeah. Weirdos deserve to be put to rest.
Hey, I don't want to do with him.
We know you're scared. You're non-violent. You don't want to smoke.
I am non-violent.
Somebody has to take the threat out. And you're not willing to do it. So the rest of us got to step up and take his ass out.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. All right.
The chat didn't stop working again.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Time to read out loud.
Joyce said eating oatmeal cookies is like eating stale dirt. Travis built different. Shaking my head. Virginia said, Jake Paul, however, that is what I had in my head, the ISIS papers. I'll do MLK and Travis is Malcolm X. Oh, see, I'm about peace. And now, see, the story is Martin Luther King had guns too. The story is he had a warehouse full of guns too. They just didn't use them. But.
Hold on. We can really talk about Martin Luther King. We want to talk about Martin Luther King.
Go ahead.
You should want that reference.
They ain't got nothing to do with me. Martin Luther King ain't got nothing to do with me. All right, hold on. Let me. Okay. Come on. All right. Let me show this now. Louisiana officers.
Hold on, you remember that comedy skit?
What?
Martin, go to bed. Come to bed. Correct. I'm about to pop the bow tie off Martin.
Oh yeah. You still talking shit on that.
You want to pop the bow tie off me?
Louisiana officers charged in black motorist deadly arrest. Now, if y'all remember this story was Mr. Ronald Greene. The official story when they first came out with his story, and they said that he got into a car crash. Fortunately for him and his family, the video was released and showed the cops actually beat him, brought him out of the car, beat him, tased him, all type of stuff until he died. And so 5 of the officers now have been charged. Let's see what they got to say.
As it should be. 5
Louisiana law enforcement officers were charged Thursday with state crimes ranging from neglect, homicide to malfeasance in the deadly 2019 arrest of Ronald Greene. Now, I have to point this out. We talk about colors and symbolism a lot. It's kind of funny. His name, it's not funny, but it's kind of ironic. His name is Ronald Greene. He just so happened to be wearing green that day. That he was beaten to death by police officers. And we know, we looked at the word, we look at the history of the word green and the green-skinned people that always referred to black people back in the Middle Ages. But yeah, a death authorities initially blamed on a car crash before long suppressed body camera video showed white officers beating, stunning, and dragging the black motorist as he wailed, "I'm scared." These are the first criminal charges of any kind to emerge from Greene's bloody death on a roadside in rural northeast Louisiana. A case that got little attention until the Associated Press investigation exposed the cover-up and prompted scrutiny of top Louisiana State Police brass, a sweeping U.S. Justice Department review of the agency, and a legislative inquiry looking at what Governor John Bev Edwards knew and when he knew it. "We're all excited for the indictments, but they're actually going to pay off," said Greene's mother, Mona Hardin, who for more than 3 years has kept the pressure on the state and federal investigators and vowed not to bury the cremated remains of her Ronnie until she gets justice. As happy as we are, we want something to stick. Facing the most serious charges from the state grand jury was Master Trooper Corey York, who was seen in the body cam footage dragging Greene by his ankle shackles, putting his foot on his back to force him down, and leaving the heavyset man face down in the dirt for more than 9 minutes. Use of force experts say the action could have dangerously restricted Greene's breathing, and the state's police own force instructor called the trooper's actions torture and murder. York was charged with neglect, homicide, and 10 counts of malfeasance in office. The others who faced various counts of malfeasance and obstruction include a trooper who denied the existence of his body camera footage, another who exaggerated Greene's resistance on the scene, and regional state police commander who detectives say pressured them not to make an arrest in the case, and a Union Parish Sheriff deputy heard on the video taunting Greene with words, "Shit hurt, doesn't it?" Well, I didn't watch the video because I can't watch these videos. It's just
trauma videos.
You become desensitized to stuff. So I didn't watch it, but obviously I saw pictures. I read what happened.
As the dude said in the comment section, American Horror Stories.
That's not dude. That was Gina.
Oh, Regina. Sorry, I thought it was the on code dude.
No, Regina. But it's sad that we don't even know what will come of this. As much as we want to say, okay, they were indicted with it, they were hit with charges. It don't even mean that it's
gonna stick.
That's what the mother said. We need something that's gonna stick. Now they didn't go for murder.
This was a hate crime. Clearly,
it could be considered that, but you don't want to go for something that you can't prove. So they went for malfeasance and negligent homicide. So they're trying to go for crimes that they can hit them with and actually charge them with and get a conviction. You can't prove that they wanted to kill him. You can prove that what their actions led to his death.
How can we prove? How can we not? They were doing everything possible to kill him.
You can't prove that though. You can't prove that they wanted to kill him. Murder is premeditated. I want to kill you. There's something I did to let you know I want to kill you. I can prove that your actions led to his death. I can't prove that you wanted to kill him. You might have just wanted to torture him, just beat on him and stuff.
They wanted to torture him until they killed him.
We don't know that. They can't prove that in the courts.
You don't know that. I know that.
Well, see, that's why you will lose a court case. Because
Where's this we? Where is George gonna say? What is this we stuff? We. Are we in France?
All right. Oh my God, Michael MLK, there's so much to unpack with him. Jeez. 8,000 lashes for the cops. It could have been any of us, our kids. That's why I'm on code. Death to the crack.
Damn.
See, that's another thing. We can't even get, true justice in this country. Because in reality, that's not even a joke. That's really what it should be called for. But, you have to deal with people getting 7 years in prison, 10 years in prison, and getting out on good behavior in 4. So, what's the woman name in Texas? I'm surprised she done got out by now.
Who?
The one who
Amber Geiger?
Amber Geiger,
who I mistakenly mistook her for Amber Heard?
I'm surprised she done got out by now. High school football incidents sparked racism talks program. Several racist incidents targeting black people occurred in this high school football season around the nation. Superintendent Tori Gibson felt she had no choice but to make an unpopular decision when learning Amador High School football team had a group chat titled "Kill the Blacks." Filled with derogatory language and racial slurs, she ended the North California school's varsity season. That meant the 100-year anniversary game between the Amador and the Argonaut was called off. We canceled the football season. We did it for the right reasons because the behavior is not acceptable, said Gibson, who oversees the Amador County Unified School District. However, football is an extracurricular activity. It is not a given. It is not a right. It is strictly extra. The discipline was swift and abrupt. A moment before Amador was to play Rosemount, a predominantly black and Latino school in nearby Sacramento, the game was called off. There was more fallout. Amador football coach, athletic director, and principal were put on leave, so they knew about it apparently. In Gibson's mind, discipline was the easy part. The hard part was settling the table for real change, and the key will be presentation. School is based in a mostly white rural area, an hour's drive east of Sacramento. Amador has just 4 black students out of 750.
Their parents choose
we say
to
this
have
all
them
the
there,
time.
so
We say this all the time. Why would you send, if you can help it, why would you send your kid to that's not even just a majority, that's a white school. There's 4 black students at the school.
they'll say they want their kids to be raised in a different environment.
And it's all it's gonna cause is trauma. Like, why would you do that? I remember when we first read this, I said, I hope those 4 black students are friends.
They not. They like the Key and Peele show.
Yeah.
Where who gonna be the popular black?
The token
The
black.
token black. They see another black kid, they go. They give him the eye, they go, who this nigga trying to take my spot? I'm the cool black kid.
That definitely exists in certain environments. But yeah, the fact that they had a chat called Kill the, like, what is it? What is it about black people?
We're not going to understand. We're not going to get it. Let's just go on.
It's an ancient hatred. It's like, damn. This how you know it's spiritual. It ain't physical. It's something in the subconscious. It's something in the spirit.
And it's weird because you don't see black people saying kill the white. I'm not saying that it has never happened.
Yeah, I'm about to say, some nigga definitely say, he just said it could kill the depth of the cracks.
It's different though. He don't have no group chat. I don't think he don't have no group chat.
Well,
if
he's not a high schooler.
I'm not upset with the brother.
He's not a high schooler with a group chat talking about kill the white people or kill the Mexicans or kill the Asians.
Well, I don't give a damn about the Mexicans and Asians. So
I don't give a about none of them.
The blacks too?
That's the only one. See, you just did some tricky shit right there. Point of the matter is the fact that they even have the mindset to have a group chat titled that when they're in high school is crazy. Like, what is that?
It's not crazy.
And they'll tell you
in
that
their nature.
And they'll tell you that, oh, racism is taught. No, racism is, as I always say, racism is just another form of survival and what do you call it?
Self-preservation.
Self-preservation. That's all racism is. It's a different variation of that.
I'm gonna say it's genetic. It's in their DNA. It's not gonna go anywhere. Hereditary. Yeah.
Police in schools have outsized effect on black children, report says. Black students were the subject for more than 80% of the incidents of police violence accounted for in the assault at Spring Valley report. The presence of police in schools actively jeopardizes the safety of black students compared to their counterparts of other races, according to the report published this month. Black students were subjected to more than 80% of the incidents for police violence accounted for in the survey, which analyzed more than 285 incidents over a decade. At least 60% of police assaults on students resulted in serious injury to the students, including broken bones, concussions, and hospitalizations. The report also cited 24 cases of sexual assault on students and 5 students' deaths as a result of police force in schools. It was published by the Advancement Project, a civil rights organization, and Alliance for the Education of Justice, a coalition of groups working toward equity in public schools. You know, a story just came out. I saw a video of a 14-year-old boy who was strip searched by a police officer. Made him put down his pants and fondled him. Just search for something, he said. What the hell is going on when police is, for whatever reason, like, we know that in the prisons, you ask yourself a question. What man would take a job where he has to stare at another man's ass spread every day?
So you saying they taking the jobs because they like seeing a man's ass spread?
Why else would you take that job? As a police officer, why would you go out of your way? Because this is not something you're not supposed to do this. Why would you go out of your way to strip search someone?
Power. Cavity
search. Like, that's something you're supposed to do at the station, and they're supposed to be a person who's trained to do this.
Humiliation.
This is a 14-year-old. Why do you want to see him stripped down? You gotta ask the question, how many pedophiles and stuff that we got as police officers?
Well, I consider white men pedophiles in general, so 100%.
We're gonna talk about that. Police officers, how some of them are getting in at this point. Now they're going in through the HBCU. Study shows race is a substantial factor in wrongful convictions. Oh, you needed a study. You needed a study to prove what we already know. Why is it always studies with niggas? We need to study this. We already know it. We already saying what's happening, and we need to study it to prove it. What's the purpose?
To get data and statistics, I guess.
We already got data. They were doing studies like this in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Maybe we need to update their study.
We even got to read that one. Look at this. A look inside the first HBCU Police Academy.
What for?
And this was in February of this year. The program aims to address the lack of diversity in law enforcement. In the U.S., 71% of police officers are white, but a historically black college in Missouri is helping change that. Lincoln University in Jefferson City created the first police academy at a HBCU. In their bid to have law enforcement better reflect America, the university started a policing program in January of 2021, graduating its first set of recruits 6 months later. In June, the class was made up of 2 black women, 4 black men, and 3 white men. I stopped right there. Why in the hell are white dudes at a HBCU to become police officers?
And he bragging about it. We have the first black police academy on the HBCU, and 2 black women, 4 black men, and 3 white men graduated.
So you get 6.
So the white people like, we gonna come there and get joined. We not going nowhere.
Law enforcement agencies across the nation have been pulling their hair out, trying to figure out a way to recruit more minorities. This has never been tried. Chief Gary Hill, the co-founder, the principal instructor of the program, told Nightline, "I would love to see where we can go from here." Well, I got to ask a question. When we look at across the country, when we see these viral videos and all this other stuff, does more black police officers help? I would love to think so. I remember that video of the NFL player who got into a dispute with a police officer. He became a little violent. Keep in mind, he was like 6'8". He was a big dude. And when the black police officers came on the scene, they was like, "Chill, bruh." And he calmed down. So his reaction to the white officers compared to the black officers was different because he saw people that, I guess you say, looked like him, he could relate to, so he calmed down. But we've also seen situations where black officers are the first one to fire off on somebody.
Or whoop your ass.
We know that viral video of the black officers who walked up to the dude while he was in the street. I guess they were protesting. He just stole off, knocked him out. So we've seen situations where the black cop is the aggressor. We've also seen him be the one to diffuse or de-escalate the situation. Would you prefer a black officer to another nationality or race?
Depends on where I'm at.
What do you mean depends on where you at?
It depends on where I'm at.
Give me an example.
If I'm in the South, yes. If I'm in the North, no.
So if you were in the northern part of the United States, you would rather a non-black officer?
I wouldn't care because Negroes in the North is a little different.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think there's
pockets. Are you around enough of them to know?
I think there's pockets of people across the country that can be a little bit different from the rest of the group.
Regina, don't take offense.
No, you already said what you said now.
Not all Northern.
You already said it. Then you even challenged me when I said not all.
However, you come across a few that you go.
There's some people down south that's weird too.
Who you know?
Niggas running around with what's that flag?
So because they run around with a Confederate flag, that make them weird?
That ain't weird. Can I buy a vowel? Is that not weird?
You can't buy nothing.
Is it not weird walking around with a Confederate flag as a black person in the South?
We don't know why they have it.
Oh, so
we don't know what it represents for them.
So we can make the same argument for the white people. It's heritage.
Well, I ain't trying to make arguments for white people. Why you always got to bring up white people? We're not talking about white people. We're talking about black people.
You don't know why they have that Confederate flag.
I'm talking about black people right now.
And we asked the question, why do they have the Confederate flag? And
I
I'm saying
said,
we can ask the
we
same
don't know
question
what
for the
that
white people that
represents
got
to
it.
them.
They say it's heritage.
You just had to talk about white people.
No, I'm bringing up an example.
We
So
know.
you support them wearing it too.
Huh?
You support them having it too.
I never said I supported the black ones.
That's the
having
loser's
it.
flag though.
Huh?
That's the loser's flag.
I just said you don't know why they have it or what it represents for them. I never said I supported
So
it.
you're defending a Negro walking around with a Confederate
I'm not
flag.
defending anything.
So what you doing?
I'm just simply saying we don't know why they have it or what it means for them.
All right. Oh, Lord.
Are you done? Are you finished?
3 men in South Africa charged for a racist attack at swim pool. 3 white men in South Africa have been charged with crimes including attempted murder and an alleged racist attack of 2 black boys that has sparked public outrage. These men were caught in video assaulting the black teenagers who were using the swimming pool at a, I don't know how to say that, resort in Free State Province. The men were trying to prevent the teenagers from swimming, claiming the pool was reserved for white people. How the hell?
Maybe they called and had a reservation
finish.
reserved for that pool, and they happened to be all white.
How the hell you're in a majority black country and you feel like you have the gall to create a white only segregated pool?
These are the strong, pure.
What?
They're the strong, pure blacks.
Who's saying anything? What are you talking about?
So I don't know. You would have to ask them why they would allow white people to attack them.
This is video here. I'm not going to show all of it, but it showed them trying to stop them from getting in the pool. What's funny is when the teenagers walked up, all the white people, they got up and left the pool.
I didn't want to be in the pool with them.
You see, they're all in the pool here. They walk up and they get out. They started getting out of the pool, as you can see. This isn't, so as they got out of the pool, now they're trying to stop them from getting in it. As a matter of fact, one of the dudes, because at first it started with just some small wrestling and stuff like that. But the last guy actually grabbed the kid or grabbed the teenager and drug him in the water and tried to hold him under the water. So he was trying to drown him. And that's why they hit him with attempted murder. Now, crazy enough, these dudes, they got out. They just kind of walked out of the jail like nothing happened. Let me show you. Further scrutiny video footage shows the men attempting to prevent the teenagers from entering the pool and a group of white people that were swimming at the time exiting the pool as soon as the black teenagers entered it. According to police, John Neal, 33, and Jan Stephanus van der, that's German, 47, were released on a warning and are expected to appear again in court next year.
I thought it was 3. We only see 1 in the pool, right?
Yes, 3.
Where the 3?
What do you mean with a 3?
It was 3
Yeah, it was
black
3.
teenagers in the pool?
No, 2 teenagers, 3 men.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think it was just 2 teenagers. The 2 appeared in court on charges of assault, common, and injury, and the matter of postponed to the 25th of January 2023 will be released on a warning. The 3rd suspect was expected to appear in court on Thursday while various political parties and activities were protesting outside the courthouse. The incident has been widely condemned, including by the president. As black and white South Africans, we should be united in condemning all manifestations of racism and attempts to explain or defend such crimes. Racism is not a problem to be fought by black South Africans only.
And that's what the president had to come out and say?
You actually asking the white people
To help fight racism.
I'm sorry. That's just crazy to me.
So if you were going towards a pool and in a pool where all these white people are and you see everybody getting out of the pool, would you have continued to go in and get in the pool, or would you have just decided to turn around and not go in the pool?
What does them getting out of the pool got to do with me? If I want to get in the pool, I'm getting in the pool.
Oh, no. I don't want to get in the pool with white people, so I wouldn't have been in that situation.
It's a pool. It's not a pool for white people.
So if you were at a place and there was a whole bunch of white people at the pool, you're the only black person there, you still would have wanted to get in the pool?
It's a pool.
I'm not making an excuse for what they did.
You kind of are, but it don't matter. It's a pool.
So you would have got in?
If I wanted to swim?
Okay. I wouldn't have went near it.
I mean, okay. You can say that.
How am I kind of am? How am I kind of am? Making an excuse for what they did.
You're saying he shouldn't have got in the pool.
I'm saying you should have some discernment.
It's a pool. It's not going into a bar with bikers. Hub and me started watching Your Honor Showtime yesterday. The story is pissing me off this show. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Your Honor Showtime. You heard of that one?
No.
I'm gonna check it out. We so fair with them, and they super unfair with us. Exactly on code. How you doing, Kiefer?
Where is Rosie? Is Rosie in the chat today?
I don't know. I am of the opinion that cause we are descendants of the originals and they are the artificials. Natural versus unnatural. Our behaviors are constant on both sides. Well, yeah, it's an ancient. Yeah, it's something that goes back way far. It's subconscious to them. Facts, Regina. Hey, I would fret. I would be fret on the panel with the fellas. What up, family? How's life? What up, Brandon? Facts, Travis. Pedo cops. Brandon said, do they ever have do anything about the situation after the studies are completed? Never. That's my point. Why are we doing all these studies when we already know the answers? Your Honor Showtime demonstrates a lot of questions y'all are raising of what the cops do. HBCU is Boule, founders Freemason.
Exactly.
A lot of the founders are white. So it gotta, yeah. We Northern Yankee Negroes are different. No offense taken. The South African story definitely was triggering, seeing those men with their hands on their necks and their teens probably the point. One coach said I would have went off. The Africans show out next day though. Brandon said they have an all-white town where black people aren't allowed to enter into South Africa. I'd burn that place to the ground. Hell, I mean, they still got sundown towns in America. I mean, there are certain places in America where maybe it's not a sign that tells you, but you kind of know about 637, you might not want to be there.
If you live in that area, you know.
It's
but
like,
if you somebody, as Regina pointed out, a Yankee Doodle.
Nah, that's not true.
From the north.
You know when you start seeing a whole bunch of pickup trucks with shotguns in the back window, I might need to get out of here.
So when I just said that you come to a pool and you see all these white people and they getting out of the pool.
Why are you comparing a pool to a person riding around in the pickup truck with a shotgun?
Because not all of them ride around in the pickup truck with a shotgun. That's not true.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to condemn somebody for getting in the pool. I'm sorry.
So don't condemn somebody for going to a sundown town and they didn't know that it was a sundown town.
I said they're going to know to get up out of there.
Just like they should have known I shouldn't be here. It's like this doesn't feel comfortable.
I don't compare it. But yeah. All right, now we can get to this one. Akon and Young Jeezy. Akon attacked over saggy pants outburst. There really wasn't a reason why people went at him, honestly. So Akon did an interview with a podcast, I guess it is, by a woman named ZZ. She asked him questions about multiple things. They were talking about music and entertainment, and then he was asking about Afro beats and how it's growing in popularity and all this other stuff. And for whatever reason, he felt the need to bring up Black American artists and comparing them to African artists. And he made the point to say that African artists are better entertainers on stage, as far as stage presence, than Black American artists. I guess he was speaking on now or current American. He never used the word African American as far as I know. He used American. But he did say them niggas be over there with their pants sagging, high on stage. So he kind of obviously was talking about Black Americans. When you saw the video yet? Have you?
Yeah, I seen it.
What was your first initial reaction?
That's what tailors do.
You about to go in now? Go ahead.
No,
I can't even say that.
You know what? I'm not even gonna give him my energy.
You got to give him something now. You got to talk about it.
This is a tether who we accepted and disregarded his hairline this whole time. We knew he was not a Black American. We looked at him and said, "They ain't no Black American. Look at his hairline."
That's not true.
You thought Akon was Black American?
No.
Okay, so what you talking about? That's not true.
When Akon first came out, we didn't care about his ethnicity or background
because we was blind then.
We were looking.
But now we see.
No, we was just listening to the music. Did we not?
I mean, he can't really sing.
Oh, now he can't sing.
He can't
was
sing.
The music not good either?
He never was a good singer.
So Locked Up wasn't a good song no more?
I ain't listening to Locked Up no more. I'm done with it.
Let me tell you something. When you piss off niggas, boy, they just turn on you. Come on now, let's not act like that's the song. I don't know about his whole catalog, but he has a few bangers that we listen to a lot.
Not no more.
So you just gonna cut it off?
Yeah. Why would we talentless
He said you were
Negroes
talentless.
want to listen to that?
Wait, okay, now y'all adding on to what the man said. All right. Online community says singer Poison's remarks will give succor to the far right. The multi-award winning artist who rose to fame with his with his hits such as "Locked Up" featuring U.S. rapper Styles P,
Oh,
who's was
half South African.
his father, right? Is South African? Maybe his mother. I don't know.
I think his mother's South African.
Made comments on a ZZ Mills show. With the clip in question quickly going viral, the remark sparked social media storm as he is accused of peddling stereotypes. Akon, who made millions from Black Americans and said the African performers on stage were a little different, before adding the U.S. artists be wobbling with their pants hanging half down while high as hell on stage.
Oh, so that's what they meant by the stereotypes?
Yeah.
Of the sagging pants? Okay.
See, that's not culture. That's a stereotype.
Is that culture?
No, it's not culture. I said that's not culture. That's stereotype.
You know you better get caught up if you said it was culture.
When I said I literally started with
then.
that's not culture. So you're trying to put something on me I never said. Akon, who was born in the U.S., spent part of his childhood in Senegal, who slammed online for his statements, with one Twitter user writing, Akon cosplayed as Black Americans for the majority of his career, so him saying this is wow. Let Black Americans cook them without xenophobia, please.
What do you mean without xenophobia, please?
I don't know.
No, we should be able to go in and say whatever we want to say.
Another wrote, you were talking about Black Americans sagging, but that's what you used to do. Plus, you can't dance either, so I guess the natural talent of Africa has skipped you.
Have you seen them dance? The only thing they do is move their legs. They don't move arms, chest.
Who is they?
Africans in general, and Jamaicans too.
What they got to do
I
with
throw the
Akon?
diaspora in it. The diaspora in Africa, none of them. All they do is move their legs. They don't move their whole body.
What they got to do?
They not soul people.
What they got to do with Akon?
What you mean they got to do with Akon?
What they got to do with Akon? You just brought up the whole...
Because he is African.
So what they got to do with Jamaica?
It now gives me a chance to tell how I really feel.
What they got to do with Jamaica?
They say they're African too, so...
They ain't say nothing about nothing, and you just...
And did he got a permanent perm?
Who?
Akon?
No, he got a hair hat on.
Oh.
Yeah.
We a little different when it comes to stage presence. Now in
yeah.
America, oh yeah, them niggas gonna be wobbling, pants hanging half down, bored as hell, half to sleep because they high as hell on stage.
Yeah.
But Africa, we wake up morning, like look at these YouTube clips of all these kids from Uganda and how they be, you know what I'm saying? Like these kids are performers, like so. For us, it comes natural, you know, like to watch the kids from Africa.
Those were the comments that sparked the most outrage.
Put their ass up on the stage with African Americans and let's see what it do.
What if they go there and get dusted?
Who gonna get dusted?
I said, what if they go there and get dusted?
Who?
Who you think? Who? Is that
You
an owl
saying
in
that the
here?
Black Americans gonna get dusted? Or
I said, what if they go
it ain't gonna happen.
Why not?
Not a chance in hell it'll happen.
Okay. Van Lathan calls out Akon for shitting on the African American experience. Van Lathan was displeased with Akon's statement that Africans are better performers than Black Americans. On Tuesday, the former TMZ co-host and senior producer took to Instagram to unload on a convicted musician and his clown shit that Lathan claims he engaged in for years now. First off, Akon has been on some clown shit for years now, but that's another topic. Van expressed, God bless him. I want to say something though. I'm Black, like Black American Black, like South Louisiana Bayou Bond is Black. He asserts his pride in his Black American culture and pushes back on the idea that it's less than African culture. Lathan has analyzed the intentions behind the opinionated artist's comments, accusing him of shitting on the entire experience I feel connected to by birthright. Lathan continues, speaking directly to St. Louis-born Senegalese Americans' remarks, discussing American performance and their bored as hell, half-spirited performances. So he went on to say, the type of Black we will understand the beauty and the danger of your skin from the beginning because your old people want you to know that you've been through. Real talk. I'm sick of people on shit on that. And to make no mistake, when you single out Black Americans for criticism, the ones who have culturally empowered the entire diaspora, you are shitting on the entire experience I feel connected to by birthright. Why do people who live like Akon, who've made millions of dollars cosplaying like brothers from Atlanta or Miami, feel the need to tear into us specifically? Later then poses the question to whether or not Black Americans are connected to the greater culture of the diaspora. The Higher London co-host admits that he's insecure about Black Americans standing in the diaspora and worries that Akon comments don't exist in a vacuum. And insecure.
Who insecure?
Van Lathan said he's insecure about the Black Americans standing in the diaspora.
I don't get, what is he saying by that?
It says right there, Van Lathan poses the question on whether or not Black Americans are connected to the greater cultural diaspora. Like, are we really connected to these other groups of what we call Black people? And the co-host admits that he's insecure about Black Americans standing in the diaspora and worries that Akon's comments don't exist in a vacuum. He's saying he thinks that all the other demographics, groups, ethnicities of Black people agree with
They
Akon.
do. They shit on Black Americans all the time.
When he's saying that he's insecure about that,
I ain't
he
insecure
hopes that's
about
not the fact.
They're insecure about it.
He didn't say you. He said he is. He's
I'm
talking about
telling
himself.
Van, if you listening,
if you listen, if you ever
you don't
hear
got
this,
shit to be insecure about. They're envious. They're jealous. They are insecure. Because if they, why they always talking about us?
yeah, stand on it. Stand
10 toes down, I'll stand on it.
All right, let's move on to this.
No hairline having mother.
He also made comments a few years ago when he was talking about Akon being on this type of stuff. He said, Akon on Black Americans' view of slavery, you just got to let it go. That's when he went on Vlad TV's show. Vlad TV's channel and got an interview where he spoke on Black Americans needing to let go of slavery and move forward.
Y'all not having a hairline, it being pushed all the way back and y'all getting hair hats. You just need to let it go. You ain't supposed to have a hairline, I guess. The Most High didn't mean for you to have one, so stop trying to get one.
All right. Brendan said they have all the white town where Black people aren't allowed, saw that. But if the government is ran by Black Africans, there shouldn't be any all-white towns with no Black as allowed.
Exactly.
He said, Brendan just said, we don't run America. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't bringing up the sundown towns to say that we in the same situation. I'm saying, I don't know how you're a majority and allow that. I mean, I want to say this. I would hope that if Black Americans became a majority, we wouldn't allow certain things. You don't know how things turn out. You don't know the mindset, but I would hope that if we became a majority, that stuff like that just wouldn't even be allowed. Like that wouldn't even be a thought that can come across somebody's head that a minority could strong arm us. Although we let Asians come in our community and take over, don't we? As far as businesses.
Is it our community?
Oh, well, see, that's another question. If you don't own it, it's yours.
Exactly.
All right. Regina said, I'm sorry. Regina said, that's what tellers do, right, Travis? And I never disregarded his hairline. He fooled me with Locked Up.
He had us all fooled with Locked Up.
Regina said, I didn't know this, but this is just an FYI. Did you guys know that both Faizon Love and Dr. Umar are Cubans? Yeah, we've been talking, yeah.
Yeah, we said that
they're both Cuban.
2 videos ago.
Dr. Umar and Faizon are Cuban. It was funny how when
with the Dr. Umar Johnson, I think on his parents' side, his grandfather comes from
his
Cuban.
grandmother. I think he's Cuban.
So what do you call them?
Bi-ethnic.
He's bi-ethnic, Dr. Umar.
Faizon Cuban.
Faizon straight up Cuban. Akon having a hairline ass is straight Senegalese.
Well, he's a Senegalese American. He's born here.
He's no American.
He would be considered African American.
That's why I said that African American term needs to go.
When some people said we need to keep it, it's ours.
Well, see, that's the problem with Black people. We got too many damn names for us.
Yeah, he said
it needs to be one name.
Brendan said his digital coin Akon dropped 88%, and now that city that he's building coming along.
We're gonna talk about that, Regina. That's next.
We're gonna talk about it. It was Brandon. We're gonna talk about it.
I mean Brandon. Sorry.
Clarification: Cuban backgrounds. Yeah, I figured. Just talking crazy. Yeah, let me go ahead and get to this Akon city, because I said the second he said this, I said he should have left this alone. Because now
this the same person that was promoting and trying to get Black Americans to come to his city. Ain't gonna tell us.
Now this is another comment Akon made in that interview where he spoke about Michael Jackson. I'm gonna show you this. Let me show how he spoke about Michael Jackson.
But I can relate to that feeling.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I felt when I was working with Michael Jackson.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
I love the way you just dropped it in there, because you've worked with...
No, but I get it.
You've worked with so many people, though, have
right.
absolute, legends. What was it like working with Michael Jackson since you
Man, it was like, wow, I can't believe I was working with him. Like, it just being in the same room, creating. Like, just imagine, like you said, looking up to somebody, you know, their songs became your childhood memories, right?
yeah.
And then you find yourself creating records for other people's childhood memories with the person that you had childhood memories with. Like, it's crazy. It was amazing. But I can relate to that feeling.
Really?
'Cause that's how I felt when I was working.
So he clearly has respect.
He don't have no respect.
Michael Jackson.
He don't have no respect.
Oh, that's his fake love.
It's fake.
All right. Now let's talk a little bit about his city. I saw
That's a city.
Akon City. I saw Calais Miller, the comedian from 85 South Show. He put out a tweet. He said, "Is Akon City open yet?"
Shout out to Black Incas of the Gambia. They doing better than damn Akon City is.
Yeah, check out our Black Incas. I like Black Incas. Rick,
Black Incas of the Gambia is doing better than Akon City. They
Bag.
in the Gambia.
Bag. That's what they call it.
They're the Bag family.
Yeah. Let me show this right quick.
So he had this launch of this youth or civic center on Thursday. Will that
And they Black Americans.
reassure the people in this area that Akon City will go ahead?
For some people, that is proof of his commitment to the area. Some people will see that this site, which actually isn't in the Akon City site, but it's not that far away, is something that he's doing, investing in the local area. On the other hand, we've also been speaking to people in the vicinity who say they're sceptical about whether Akon City will ever be built. They've had a lot of promises. While the press conference was broadly welcomed by people who have the Akon cryptocurrency and talk about it on social media spaces like Telegram, the price of the coin has continued to drop in the last 24 hours. It's currently worth 2 cents of a US dollar.
2 cents of the US dollar.
And I hope you know, Akon City will be, like I said, it will be a main topic every time he do an interview.
How that city coming
How
along?
that city going along? What's going on with Akon City? Now I'm gonna show this. This is what they said is
Dirt.
They said it says here, the white guy who just in the interview, he said, I have gotten more things in place before promoting it. That's what Akon said. That's a quote from Akon. He said he would have gotten more things in place before promoting it. Admits when we meet in central London, he said the site where Akon City is planned to is empty apart from the foundation stone, which was unveiled at the launch ceremony in 2020, and a few stray goats. So I'm gonna show the video. Let me show the video real quick. This is the only thing that's there at the site where they're supposed to be building at, apparently. You think it's a scam? Or you think it's just, you ain't getting the funding, you need more funding? Is that what he's trying to do, get more funding?
From who?
I don't know.
The Tiny Hats? Did
No,
the Tiny
it's-
Hats put him up to this?
No, it's the Asians that got him. He's the one that getting money from the Asian when he supposedly gave light or electricity to a whole bunch of people. And it turns out he got the money from the Asian people.
Oh, the same electricity that be going in and out.
Why y'all always take a dig at the people, man?
I'm not taking a dig at the people. They need to stop taking digs at us.
When
Because they don't want to smoke.
When did they take a dig?
Who they?
Well, you just said they.
They've all taken digs from each country. They've taken digs.
I mean,
You remember you had the Congolese woman talking shit about Black Americans?
what Congolese woman?
You don't remember the Congolese woman that was on YouTube talking about Black Americans? This is during the Art Capty time
Oh yeah.
on when she was in the Gambia.
I wish I could put the comments on the screen, but for some reason messed up. He said, Black Cherubin said the city has lots of open space.
It's very open.
Very open. Oh Lord.
All I saw was wind and debris blowing.
Debris. He stood up a few goats. Oh, look at Al Sharpton,
With that
Mr.
slick
Slickback.
That slick back.
A pimp named Slickback. He back in the media. He got a TV show. It's on MSNBC.
I was like, I've been pimping hoes for a long time.
Oh man, Al Sharpton, Mr. Al Sharpton.
He stay sharp.
The man done been through so much. He done got away with so many crimes. Akon said he
Hold
got
on
$1 billion.
now. What crimes Al do?
Huh?
What crimes Al do?
Oh, he snitched to get out of it. FBI, baby. You can believe it or
Al
not.
Sharpton say it's on site when he see you.
Man, Sharp lost a lot of weight.
He ain't got that as I die slow, do he?
Hey, we saw Eddie Long get up out of here the same way.
You should give a shout out to a YouTuber
What
that just
YouTuber?
recently passed.
No.
You ain't gonna do it?
They ain't got nothing to do with me.
Wow.
Rest in peace to him, but yeah.
Well, he wasn't big as Kevin Samuels is, so.
Al Sharpton warns Democratic leaders of waning black electorate support. It's almost like this is already known. They've been talking about this since the beginning of the year. But I guess him saying it.
It's supposed to do what?
I guess.
What is it supposed to do?
This is him trying to get some jobs for his people. He's trying to get their bread up, get in some TV shows to try and spread some propaganda for them. You know, hey, y'all need to go on more on these black platforms to talk to these black people.
He trying to get Tamika Mallory another Cadillac deal.
Oh yeah, that is his people. That's he in his group. Yeah, that Nan.
My son.
Yeah, the Rev Al Sharpton. He still considers himself a reverend.
Hey, he's a reverend. Once a reverend, always a reverend.
The Reverend Al Sharpton has warned Democratic leaders that they must step up to party's appeal to African American voters, or risk Donald Trump or other Republican leaders making great inroads with the black electorate in the run-up to the 2024 presidential election.
Y'all been talking about Donald Trump for 7 years.
Let it go.
That man got a hold on y'all.
Speaking to The Guardian from the Harlem headquarters and civil rights group National Action Network in New York City, Sharpton, 68, said that Trump's small but notable support in 2020 among voters in certain minority demographics should set off alarm bells for the Democratic strategists. And incremental as it was, Trump and the Republicans made some increases among black male voters. Here we go. Here we go. Black male voters. Trump gonna get them.
You better be glad I don't vote. You better be glad I don't vote.
We didn't see that coming. We need to we didn't see that coming. We need to be really very careful not to ignore that. Black voters were critical in Joe Biden's success in 2020, both in securing the Democratic nomination and his victory in the November general election. Which is funny now because they flipped the process of the primary, and they've made South Carolina the start off state, which is going to change a lot. They want to make the black vote first. So you'll know who's going to win the election literally the first day. Boom, South Carolina, you'll know who's going to win the election. So everybody will be dropping out after that. Where's it at? Partly in the recognition for the lack of such support, the president is proposing that South Carolina, a state with a majority black Democratic electorate, should be promoted to having the first nominating contest. This is what I just said in 2024 primary elections.
Oh, that was their way of acknowledging you and giving you something.
Yeah. Exit polls from the 2020 presidential contest suggest that Trump increased his support among black men by 6 points over the 2016 performance. That increase was recorded despite Trump's hostile stances towards minority groups during the term in the White House, including the travel ban on immigration for Muslim minority countries, attacks on prominent black leaders, and flirtation with white supremacist organizations.
What they got to do with what they got to do with black men and minorities and all? We don't give a damn about no damn immigrant. We do care about who crosses the border. We don't want their asses here.
Oh shit! Sharp then commented in 2019 that Trump had particular venom for people of color. More detailed studies in 2020 voting patterns by the Pew Research Center AP Votecast found an increase in Trump's support among black voters to be less pronounced, rising from 6% of the black vote in 2016 to just 8% in 2020. The shift is much more marked among Hispanic Americans, with Trump's share of that desperate electorate increasing from 28 to over 38% over the 4 years. That's what I'm saying. Why do they keep trying to make black men the center of this Trump support when it's actually Hispanics?
Maybe they're trying to hint to us. Cause we said that I said that I believe Westmore may be running for president. You said Tim Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why black men are being talked about a lot because they know there's going to be a lot of black
More black male candidates.
candidates running for president.
So what are they trying to? They trying to pull them to their side or something? What do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe they, well, who would you vote for? Would you vote for Tim Scott if you voted?
Or Westmore?
Well, we know we not voting. I'm not voting for Westmore.
Why?
He's Obama 2.0.
When you voted for Obama?
You see how niggas do.
What?
I was naive.
Oh, you ashamed of that?
I'm ashamed. Anybody that voted for Barack Obama for their first term who black should be ashamed.
What do you mean?
Anybody that voted
Look, man,
for him.
2008, he got everybody. Well, you see the drop off in 2012. 2008, he got everybody.
Actually, you know what? I was forced into voting for, to be quite honest.
No, you was forced.
I was.
Okay. How was you forced?
I don't want to go into details, but I was, held hostage going to vote for Barack Obama.
Okay.
So it was a traumatic experience, and I don't want to relive it.
Okay.
You see in the corner where they say Greta ends year with one of the greatest. They're trying to make her popular again.
That's what I'm saying. If I brought up her being connected to Andrew Tate, he's like viral. So them connecting her to him
attention
on purpose was a reason for that.
Okay, back to the subject.
Now I want to show the support they want us to give Biden, and I'm gonna show some lies that Biden done told. He done told a lot.
Another one?
I'm gonna show a couple of him lying about his childhood. The man has been proven to be a plagiarist. He steals people speeches, all type of stuff.
He's a compulsive.
He lied about what college he went to, how many degrees he got, where he graduated in his class. Say he graduated at the top, but he graduated 76th out of 85 in his class.
Which means he should not be
Let's just show
the president.
Let's see some stuff he said.
He's a dummy.
I got raised in the...
You said what?
He's a dummy. You was a dummy.
I got raised in the black church. He knows I'm not kidding. I got my education for real in the black church. And that's not hyperbole, it's a fact. I probably went to shul more than many of you did. You all think I'm kidding. He can tell you I'm not. I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home, politically. I just have one thing to say. Hang on here.
They'll stay business. They can talk about him.
He started with, I was raised in the black church. Then he said, I was raised politically Puerto Rican. What does that even mean? How are you politically Puerto Rican? It's like over in the UK, they consider somebody to be politically black. Indian people in the UK are considered politically black.
Yeah, in the UK, not in America.
Lord have mercy. The man said, I went from the black church, Puerto Rican. Said he was a Jewish, which I believe that part. I wouldn't be surprised if he was deep into the Jewish stuff growing up.
He's definitely not Jewish, though.
Yeah, he's not, but wouldn't be surprised if he was supportive of it. Let me
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
What up, Tommy? He said, let's go, Brandon. What's up, Brandon? George, where's George at? In Buffalo, trying to save some pink toes from the cold. That's what Brandon said.
Yeah, George,
George said he got to make moves.
he trying to save lives out here.
George said he making money moves. Oh, Lord. All right. Let me, Jackson water system update. This is going to be quick. They got another boil water advisory.
Well, didn't they get it because of the frozen pipes, because of the winter?
I don't think it had anything to do with it.
Okay.
Pressure at plants have largely recovered. We anticipate pressure recovery in the full system Saturday into Sunday. We will sample remaining areas that should result in Monday. Should have results Sunday, Monday. More water is needed in the system to ultimately fill tanks. That happens over time. We need to put out more than normal for the period of time to make up for all the losses during the freeze.
Yeah.
Anticipate seeing the tanks begin to fill tonight. Lifting the boil water notice is dependent on two factors: pressure at the meters and passing the required bacteria testing. All connections need to have 20 psi pressure before we can lift the citywide order. However, we can begin lifting the order in areas where pressure has been recovered by zip code. Once pressure is recovered at the meters, we sample for bacteria and wait 24 hours for results. This is an American city.
They're saying because of the pipes was frozen.
Plenty of places have frozen pipes. They ain't have to have them boiling water measures.
We don't know that. Now everybody reporting the story.
Nobody reporting the story. It would be a story. It was a story in Flint, the same way it's a story in Jackson. It was another place, somewhere in Texas had it. Water was brown as hell.
President Obama is coming up with
Obama.
Come on, we ain't gonna act like okay. President Biden is coming up with a plan. The infrastructure plan is supposed to help, make America better.
Yeah, okay. Another place that got some news. What does reparations mean? 8 months into the process, Asheville still finding its way. So Asheville, this is North Carolina, right?
You know it's North Carolina.
I'm making sure because I didn't look it up.
Oh, but because I looked it up.
Making sure.
If I said it's North Carolina, it's North Carolina.
The room where full reparation commissions often meets in innocuous, a second floor banquet hall in the Horror Cherokees Center downtown with burnt orange walls and slacks of stiff back chairs. Despite the conference room mundanity, the folding tables, the printed play cards, the retro polka dot upholstery, there's a gravitas to the work as the 25-member commission forges in a historic reparations project with no roadmap to guide them. This is in Asheville, North Carolina. They had, I think this was last year, they came out and said they had a reparations plan for the black people there. Said it would just be for people in Asheville. So they try to define reparations. He said, what is reparations? When asked about the tangible expected to come to the commission, most members took a fairly diplomatic tone. That's the $1 million question, said former alternate, now full voting member Dwayne Richardson. And right now, I think that's going to be the best defined by the number of groups. At this point in the process, along with monthly meetings of the full board commission members and their alternates meet with breakout groups, making breakout groups called Impact Force Area that target criminal justice, economic development, education, health, and wellness, and housing. For more, Mills said the focus groups will make recommendations that are brought to the full commissions after discussion with support staff and legal. If approved, the recommendations will be put before council members and county commissioners. They went through and tried to define what they think reparations is. They told different stories in Asheville from people who were local. And they pretty much saying the same thing we got from the people in California. So I'm wondering, why don't they just...
Because they just have to make stuff difficult.
Why not just do, it's a national story now.
They just got to make stuff difficult. It should be an open and shut case.
It should be.
But as a matter of fact, they need to make sure they add that slavery part on it. Because in California, they don't have that slavery part on it.
Well, it's on there, but they said they focus on housing
discrimination. They don't even have the mass incarceration on there.
No. They do, but it's one of the other 5 things they were talking about. So, yeah.
Shout out to Dane Calloway.
Yeah, I'm going to show this video of Dane Calloway put a short.
A fellow Aboriginal.
Oh, you Aboriginal too?
From the DMV area.
You ain't from no damn DMV.
No, I'm from North Carolina. Virginia is right above us, though.
Virginia's not part of DMV.
I know.
So what the hell you say Virginia for? You know you did.
Because some people sound like people in Virginia. They sound like the DMV area, especially the ones that are at the northern part of Virginia. They sound like them. They consider themselves part of the DMV area.
Okay, let's show this.
What culture do you consider yourself a part of?
I am Cherokee Native American, born here in Virginia. I have no African heritage whatsoever and no African relatives. I am all Cherokee Indian.
How come?
You probably are too.
Well, why do you say that?
Because the Indian is black, actually. It's the same people that Columbus met when he got off the boat. We are not African. This is Richmond, Virginia, where the first 20 slaves landed. There's no record of any other slaves landing here. Those 20 Africans that landed here were on a boat that was hijacked by Portuguese. The real black slaves here were Portuguese. Most of the slaves in this country were actually white, not black. My people owned slaves. We weren't slave owners. 96% of the southern slaves were owned by the 5 tribes of the Lakota. I am Cherokee, the largest of the 5 tribes.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
10-4, you have a good one.
So he's saying that they own white slaves. He said majority of the slaves were white.
Yeah. This is why this is I don't know why we find this so difficult to understand. We've talked about this ad nauseam. We constantly bring up the fact black people in America make up, for the most part, 3 groups. The Negroes that were already here, or what we refer to as Negroes, that were black people that were already here, who were here with the Mongoloids. There were 2 different groups or sects of people here in America. There was the Mongoloids and there were what we call the Negroids.
The Negroes are here first, though.
Then you have the Negroes that came from West Africa. Some of them, majority of them came from slavery. Some of them came of their own volition. They came to America as well. Not all of them were slaves, but the bulk of them who came from West Africa were slaves. Then you have the Negroes that came from Europe. Some of them were slaves, but the bulk of them were free people who were leaving race wars and coming to America. Black people in America, for the most part, make up 3 different groups. I don't know why it's so hard to understand. So yes, in the early 1700s, 1600s, there were white slaves. There were black slave owners. There were wealthy black people that came from West Africa. They were already here, part of the tribes who were wealthy, and wealthy people that came from Europe, black people who owned slaves. At that point, they were indentured servants. Well, we know that term. There's a lot of people like to bring up the Irish people who were indentured servants and call them slaves. There were white people who were indentured servants. So in the early 1600s, 1700s, it was not race-based. Anybody could be a slave. It was not race-based. That changed in the late 1700s, going into the 1800s. That's when it became race-based. That's when being a slave was racial. It was mainly black people. They started writing laws. They created the idea of being white, black, red, all yellow. The color. They started using color to define people, which is really just a way to control somebody's potential earnings in the future. But anyway, it wasn't until the late 1700s, 1800s that it became racial. Most black people at that point had their land taken, or they gave up their slaves, or they were purchasing people out of slavery because it became racial. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. Why do people think that everybody who's in America is either Native American, they're either West African, or they're Moors, as some people like to call them? The Moors, or the, what's the other word? The ones who wear the hat. They call themselves Moors, right?
Yeah, they Moors.
Moors Temple, yeah, the Moors people, the one with the red hat with the tassel on it. I don't know why they don't understand that it's all 3. It ain't just one or the other. Then you got the ones that say that we are Moroccan, the real Moroccans. We're the sovereign citizens, and all that's the Moors. They also believe that we're the original Moroccans. We're sovereign citizens in America. We signed a peace treaty deal with America. But yeah, some did, but that might not be you. The world was quote unquote black then. This notion that everybody in Europe was white, everybody in Africa was quote unquote black, everybody in on the East was Asian. No, people were just like now. People were traveling all around the world, experiencing other cultures. It's the same thing. But yeah. Shout out to Dane Calloway, Virginia Harris. Jim Crow Joe Biden and thieves in his continuous lies and obsession with black folks, and I suspect the 10% rule might apply to him with a little research. Self-hate is a mug. Virginia is the V in DMV. I'm from there. Well, look, man, I didn't want to get into a dispute about the DMV because I heard people say Virginia is not
Virginia
DMV.
is part of the DMV.
I've heard people say it's
Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia.
No, I've seen people say Virginia is not DMV.
Well, what does the V stand for?
Look, I don't know. They said that only northern, like, was it northwestern or some northeastern something part of Virginia is DMV. Virginia, the state, is not DMV. I've heard that. But I don't even get into it because people, they be arguing amongst themselves.
Maryland, in Virginia, DMV.
Listen to what I just said. There are people that say Virginia, the state, is not DMV.
Well, you tell them that.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. The DMV be fighting over that too. I don't know. All right, let me North Carolina Supreme Court rejects racially discriminatory law, discriminatory voter ID law, and state electoral map. Both cases were decided 4-3 along party lines, with all the high court's Democratic justices voting and the majority and all the Republicans dissenting. Go ahead. They got rid of that. They said you should not have to have a
You
ID
should
to
have
vote.
to have a voter. You should have to have an ID to vote. That don't make no sense or no logic. Then anybody can go up there and vote that is not a American citizen. That's stupid. Where's the common sense at? So we just allow anybody to go up there and vote? Yes, you should have a ID or a driver's license when you are voting. It's common sense. North Carolina is becoming a dumb state. What the fuck is wrong? Excuse me. What is wrong with North Carolina? We need to go back there immediately and get things in order.
Oh, we're going to get it in order?
They're in the news, the headlines, beating up on people. They don't know what to do about reparations. They clearly need help there.
Oh, you going to be the one to help them?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to take it on.
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing incredibly wrong with having to have ID to vote. I don't understand why that's considered discriminatory or racially discriminatory.
It should be mandatory. If you let you come in a booth, where your ID? I don't got my ID, baby. Well, ma'am, you ain't voting today.
But they all got IDs though. Anybody who's voting is going to have an ID.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
You sure? Somebody gonna come in there.
Well, I don't understand why is it the ID is what they want to make the racial thing.
Where your ID? I forgot it at home. And I reckon you be going back to go get your ID at home because you ain't voting here today. What? You heard what I said?
You were saying people home don't have their ID?
Yeah, I'm sending them home.
What if they have proof of
and 105-degree weather?
What if they have proof of identification?
We know immigrants do that all shit all the time, so I'm gonna need a real deal. Matter of fact, where your birth certificate?
Damn, you want a birth
Let's crack down on this thing.
You want a birth certificate too? Obama not gonna be able to vote.
Huh?
Obama can't vote then.
Exactly.
This is
that's who I'm going after, the Obamas.
The Republicans.
The immigrants and the tethers.
They swear up and down that ID they swear up and down that his birth certificate is fake.
I've heard that story many a times.
I'm gonna show this clip right here
about Hussein,
of a Jewish man talking about Hitler and what he did to destroy the wealth of Jewish people in Germany. Have you seen this?
No.
Since we're talking about reparations, let's see what he had to talk about.
Who knows the first two laws that Hitler implemented? Hitler, Yimach Shemo v'Zichro, first two laws that Hitler implemented that not only put him in a different status than everybody else for the rest of history, but also made what's called until this day the biggest financial miracle in history. Who knows the first two laws? Before the Nuremberg laws. Before that, we're talking about years before it. Hitler first comes into power. What's the first two laws? Okay, I'll save you the time. Rule number 1, no more pornography, no more homosexuality, none of that garbage, not allowed. Berlin in the 30s, in the 20s, was the Sodom and Gomorrah of the day. They were the Las Vegas of the day. They were the Sodom and Gomorrah of the day. Homosexuality, pornography, all the bestiality, all the garbage of the world, that was the capital of the world. He outlawed it. You're no longer allowed, closed all the bars, all the gay clubs, all the production, which were all run by Jewish people. Unfortunately. Second rule.
That's their culture. Now, if you listen to him very closely, he's saying America is Sodom and Gomorrah.
He just said America is Sodom and Gomorrah. Las Vegas. He pointed out Las Vegas.
So that means that America has to be destroyed. No more repentance for America. You're done.
What's the second rule? Second rule was you're not allowed to charge interest.
Usury, the tax system that they created. We can go so deep into that. How they brought in the banking system in America. How we can make an argument the Civil War was actually about the banking system and how they wanted to put a private bank in the South as well as the North. And America didn't want to allow the South to have their own private bank. So they went to war, but they made it about the slaves. But that's a whole nother discussion. But he said, when he say interest, he mean usury. So the things he banned was pornography, homosexuality, all this sexual.
Because that will destroy a society.
Well, there's also a lot of money being made by them. And he banned interest. So, you know, and this is what it is. In the scriptures, you as a group, you're allowed to charge interest to people outside of your group. So if as a black person, if you do business with another black person, you're not supposed to charge no interest. You're supposed to be straight up with them. But if you do business with somebody outside of your nation, outside of your ethnicity, outside of your race, I should say race rather than ethnicity. If you do business with somebody outside of your race, you can charge them interest as much as you want. So this is what the Jewish people was doing. They was charging interest to the other people, but to their people, they were doing straight up business. When you charge interest, you put people in debt. As we know, America is a society, their entire society over here, the West really is built on debt. How much you owe.
That's why your credit is built off of
how much you owed and paid back.
Loans. You paid it, whether you paid it off.
It's a system of usury. That's why America's system started falling, because they went towards the usury, the debt system, and left the gold standard. So they went towards the lead, bullets, and debt versus gold.
Yeah, they still got the bullets.
No more interest. Now you would think, why? What does he care about interest? Well, because all the people that had the money, that lent the money out, were Jews.
Money lenders. Who are all the bankers? Don't ask that question.
Like it. So he said no more interest. Why? Because of the high interest that the Jews charged people was so high, it ruined, it destroyed the economy in Germany. They destroyed, just like they destroyed Russia a few years before that.
Oh, the Bolshevik Revolution. And it took 70 years for Russia to get from underneath that communist regime, which is why Russia is so hard on Nazis now, why they're calling Ukrainians Nazis. They even said that Germany still got some Nazis left.
Through their communism over there, Jews destroyed Russia. Not Greene. Jews destroyed. Communism is by Jews. Well, don't let.
Now, this is a Jewish man saying this, YouTube. This is a Jewish man telling you what it is. But if I say this without him in the video, that's called hate speech.
Anti-Semitic.
It's crazy. DC, Maryland, Virginia. See, he said DC.
Oh,
Maryland,
I thought
Virginia.
it was Delaware.
See?
Well, I'd like to be educated. Chocolate City.
That's why
makes sense.
That's why I don't get into that dispute, because people argue over. Yeah. I'm not even gonna show this. Oh. We had this discussion with the California Crips. We actually had someone to respond to us in the comments.
Did anybody threaten us?
He talked junk, but he ain't threatened.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, I threatened him more than he threatened me. But yeah. So in Atlanta now, or in Georgia, there's now Asian Crips. Now we did all that. You in particular, you did all that talking.
What I say
about California and how they the ones that allow this, and that don't happen in the South.
It don't.
So what's this?
Where the black people at?
Right there.
He not Black American.
How you know?
I know for a fact he ain't Black American.
You don't know that.
I'm looking at his hairline. I can tell.
So now you got Asian Crips in Georgia. So what you gonna say about that?
I don't have nothing to say about it, because it's a whole bunch of Asians there. Ain't no black people there supporting that.
You really don't act like you don't. So wait, when we saw the Asians in California, there was one black dude in the video.
It was more than one black dude in the video. It's about 4 or 5.
Out of 30.
4 or 5.
Out of 30.
Okay, there's none in this picture.
There's one right there.
He's not Black American.
Okay. So we're gonna look at this right here. They literally gonna circle his ass. He's right there.
Yeah, I see him. I'm saying he's not Black American.
So what is he?
Hey, there's a whole bunch of new blacks in Georgia.
That's not a new black.
I'm changing the definition of new black.
You can't be just changing the definition.
I can do whatever I want to do, really.
You can't really.
Yeah, I can.
You really can't.
Yeah, I can.
Atlanta Asian Crips gangs taking over. Brace yourselves. He said unfolding. Oh man, his name is Honorable Ant.
Hey.
What are you? So you really ain't got nothing to say about that. You went in on California.
Until I see Negroes out there doing that with them, then I'll
have
say
videos
something.
up in a little while of them throwing up gang signs and stuff.
I don't believe it.
You ain't gonna say nothing though. Cause you scared.
Scared of what?
I don't know.
Shh. Man, you crazy.
Physical attacks on power grids surge to new peak.
The government is out here attacking power grids.
What do you think is the government? Maybe it's some anarchist groups that are against the government.
Attacking the grids that are going to harm other people?
Is it Russia?
Oh, here we go. The election getting ready to come up.
I'm saying, is it Russia? Is Russia got spies over here? We know that Russia does have spies in America. Are they destroying the power grid to destabilize America a little bit?
I don't think this is Russia at all.
So why would an American? So you said American government first. Why would the American government want to destroy power
grids?
Mm-hmm.
Why would the American government be out here burning up farms?
Was that the American government burning down farms and
yes, it absolutely
food factories?
Yes, because they want you to eat plant-based meat.
So why are they destroying it? Okay, that makes sense. They want to destroy the food plants to make you change your diet. Why are they trying to destroy the power grid?
Well, because they've been saying that there's going to be a blackout.
They did say that 2 years ago, and they said it's going to be Russia. And they've been talking about what's that device they use to it's like a bomb, electric bomb that destroys the power grids. We got the word for it. And Russia does have that technology.
Russia.
They said Russia gonna do it. Matter of fact, didn't they say they were gonna do it to Russia a few months ago? They were gonna attack their internet connection.
You really believe Russia out here messing with the power grids? I
didn't say I believe that. I said that's the narrative they starting in. And because they get rid of these power grids and it's cold, people are freezing. There was a woman who died. I think it was in Chicago or somewhere in the Midwest. She was a black woman. She got caught in the storm, the blizzard, and she died.
She went up to New York to take care of her father.
Yeah. No, that's another one.
Oh, that's another
one?
That
was multiple. There was another woman who was driving home from work, and her car was found, and she was found in her car. Unfortunately, she passed away from the storm. There was another woman. You talking about the woman who saved the white dude?
No, I'm talking about the woman who had moved up from New York. She lived in North Carolina, but she moved up to New York to take care of her father. And she got caught in the blizzard and she died.
So that was damn. So there was two different stories where they both were caught in their cars during the blizzard. Man, look at this one. A startup says it's begun releasing particles into the atmosphere in an effort to tweak the climate. Make Sunsets is already attempting to earn revenue for geoengineering, a move likely to provoke widespread criticism. You know, when I seen this article, this is MIT technology review, I immediately said, they really act like you don't already know this stuff exists. They really act like you're going to say, oh, this is new technology. Like you ain't already doing this. You've been accusing Bill Gates the last 2 years of changing the weather up here.
He is.
Why are you accusing Bill Gates of that? He's not capable of that.
Yes, he is capable of that.
How?
Same man that's out here making vaccines.
He ain't making vaccines.
He's a part of it.
He paid companies that make vaccines.
And he paying companies to mess with the environment. It's getting too hot for him.
Too hot for him. That man said one time that he want to block the sun, and people been throwing that on him
Yeah,
forever.
he been blocking it ever since.
He ain't block no sun. You can't do it.
Yeah, he can.
And we told y'all last year it's gonna be a cold winter. Even though it got really cold. There was a cold front that came.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of warmed back up.
As a matter of fact, today, California's supposed to get that atmosphere river rain I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They getting that today. Supposed to be flood type weather in northern and southern California. They getting that atmosphere river rain.
When they need water.
Yeah, they should be happy they're getting it.
Climate experts believe that next ice age is on its way. This was in 1978. They were saying that an ice age was on the way. So it's funny how that changed in the early 2000s to
climate change,
global warming. But,
global warming, now it's climate change.
Yeah. FBI blast conspiracy theorists over Twitter files, claims to provide critical information to protect company.
How could the FBI blast? Elon Musk has been releasing.
That's what they're saying. So they calling those people conspiracy theorists for reading the actual files of what's going on. They calling them.
How's that conspiracy theories when it's factual? It's proven.
Apparently, this is the FBI. They used to getting in the media and using words to confuse people.
Fraud Bureau and
Fraud Bureau investigation.
Fraud Bureau investigation.
No, it's a Federal Bureau of Blocking investigation. The FBI said Wednesday that Revelations agents pressured Twitter to muzzle its own users for so-called misinformation and foreign influence, and falsely warned of a hacking leak operation involving first son Hunter Biden were just business as usual. The correspondence between the FBI and Twitter showed nothing more than examples of our traditional, long-standing and ongoing federal government and private sector engagements, which involve numerous companies over multiple sectors and industries, the FBI told the Post in a statement in response to the latest jaw-dropping revelations from the Twitter files. So the FBI just came out and said, we work with every private company. So that means television too, right? Media?
Yep.
So now they have to admit it, but they're trying to act like it's normal. As evidence in the correspondence, the Bureau went on, the FBI provides critical information to the private sector in an effort to allow them to protect themselves and their customers. The men and women at FBI work every day to protect the American public. The statements concluded, it's unfortunate that conspiracy theorists and others are feeding the American public misinformation with the sole purpose of attempting to discredit the agency. People been calling for the FBI to be abolished for like 3 years now. Just get rid of them. But if you get rid of them, there's probably some other secret intelligence agency you don't know about right now that'll be exposed in 10, 15 years. Another story that happened along with that, when the FBI attacks its critics as conspiracy theorists, it's time to reform the Bureau. Well, that ain't going to happen unless you get rid of them completely, because most of them, they're tied in deep, what they call the deep state.
Trump's supposed to be in the White House cleaning up the swamp.
He was part of the damn swamp. Twitter employees using own toilet paper after Elon Musk cuts janitor. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier when we was talking about. I said, why is people in the media going so hard against Twitter and Elon Musk? They're make sure they point out he fired janitors and that the employees got to bring their own toilet paper.
That's bullshit.
Like, this is like what is the point of this? How you still coughing?
How you still not minding your business?
This is what I'm talking about, the constant barrage of attacks on Twitter. All of a sudden, the second the company was sold, it became a big hit piece. Look at this. Spoofs infiltrate Silicon Valley. Facebook is riddled with ex-CIA agents, including President's briefer, who now runs harmful content team. So many ex-FBI work at Twitter, they have Slack channel, and Google is rife with ex-CIA. Mint Press, Alan McLeod, found the former CIA agents made up some of the top ranks in almost every political sensitive department at Meta. He also found that former FBI agents migrated to Twitter in droves. DailyMail.com has been able to track down many of these former intelligence officials who are now working at the tech companies. Now I'm gonna scroll through. I want to show y'all. Aaron Berman, president's former briefer at the CIA, turned senior policy manager for misinformation at Meta.
You're a tiny hat.
Look, see, just pay attention to the names, y'all.
Aaron
Berman. Deborah Berman, former
Tiny hat.
intelligence analysis at the CIA, now working as a trust and safety manager. Now, the reason why they found all this on their linked pages. So more than likely, this has all been scrubbed. You're not going to be able to find this.
I don't know about him.
Yeah, Chris Rose, they probably changed his name. Political and counterterrorism analysis at the CIA before joining Meta's oversight board. Brian Weisberg, former CIA intelligence officer, now employed as director of trust, safety, security, and data privacy. Cameron Harris, CIA analysis turned Meta trust and safety project manager. Scott Stern.
That's a tiny hat.
Mike Torrey. So you get the point.
When Kanye West said, which we all knew.
No, not yet. Oh, I'm about to get to that. What you about to say? I know what you're about to say. So all these people were former CIA and all that stuff. They end up working at Facebook, Google, and Twitter. But some Daily Mail, for some reason, left out. They talked about the CIA, FBI, and all these other State Department intelligence agencies. Let me show this one. One they didn't bring up that the Mint Press made a whole article about. Hold on, let me hold on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. And this is the original article. This is the first who pointed out how many of these people were working at other companies. Now, this was released October 31st of 2022. Look at this. Revealed. Former Israeli spies working in top jobs at Google, Facebook, and Microsoft. Why didn't Daily Mail point out the Israeli spies working at American tech companies?
Who owns the Daily Mail? Who owns the Daily Mail?
I don't know. We can guess.
We don't have to guess.
And the Daily Mail is a UK company. I don't know if that one is the UK version. Mint Press study has found that hundreds of former agents of the notorious Israeli spy organization, Unit 8200, have attained positions of influence in many of the world's biggest tech companies, including Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon. The Israeli Defense Forces, Unit 8200, is infamous for surveilling the indigenous Palestinian population, amassing on individuals for the purpose of blackmail and extortion, spying on the world's rich and famous. Unit 8200 hit the headlines last year after the Pegasus scandal broke. Pegasus was a piece of technology they developed that can literally hack people's phones. If I'm not mistaken, I think the FBI or the CIA or Homeland Security, one of those, purchased this from them. When people found out about this Pegasus thing, if I'm not mistaken, Homeland Security, I think they purchased this from the Israeli government, which don't make sense because they mean they're going to use it to spy on. You're going to buy it from them, and they're going to use it to spy on you.
Why would another country want to have that information on another country?
Well, the biggest thing is, why would the national, I think it was the Homeland Security or CIA, one of them, why would they purchase it? Who they want to hack? Who they want to track and hack on?
Well, they do that anyway here.
Former Unit 8200 officers designed and implemented software that spied on tens of thousands of politicians and likely aided in the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. So that means Mohammed bin Salman had this technology too. That means he was working with the Israelis to track Jamal Khashoggi. So they helped in his assassination. So they went through all these places and showed all these Israeli spies who work at Google, Microsoft, and stuff. And I just found it funny that Daily Mail never mentioned them. Look at all these people. And they said it was hundreds of spies.
Oh, tiny hats?
And somehow it's not a big deal to them. So it's funny how
talk about them. That's anti-Semitic.
One particular social media is able to get around it, though. I have yet to see YouTube. Google, yeah, I know Google owns YouTube, but I have yet to see YouTube involved name in any of this. And I know they're involved.
It's coming.
But they've been able to stay clean. All right, let me
These are some
hold on. Credit there, the dark groups that are considered white. All right. Pope Benedict the 16th has died at age 95.
What would our uncle say?
Fuck the Pope, but
there's some heavy hitters. Barbara Walters died.
Now keep in mind, Pope Benedict's death, he is the Pope that quote unquote retired.
We resigned.
And some people say he didn't retire. He was being held prisoner.
He said he resigned because of his age and his stamina, and he could no longer do his job as the Pope, so he resigned.
Some people say he was being held prisoner in the
Vatican.
In the Vatican, that he's been held prisoner there since he quote unquote retired. And they said the reason why he retired is a huge scandal was going to drop on him involving you know who, little boys. They said a huge scandal was about to drop on him. He was forced to quote unquote retire and be held prisoner basically in the Vatican. But you know, he just died peacefully according to them now at 95.
He probably been dead about 10 years. And he just said, oh, he died.
10
He
years.
forgot to say he died 10 years ago. How would he be 95? Oh, died at 95. He died at 85. I'm just waiting to see who the third big person going to be. They got to be a little older, 97, 98. If this is a pattern that they continue in. I wonder who it's going to be. It's got to be a heavy hitter.
Who's going to be the heavy hitter?
Barbara was a heavy hitter. The Pope was a heavy hitter. Who the third one?
DAVOS 2023. World Economic Forum shifts into high gear in preparing for the next pandemic. So the World Economic Forum, which is hosted in Davos,
which is in Switzerland, a city,
they're now looking towards Africa. I remember we used to debate whether or not we would live in Africa and how people are escaping to Africa to get away from the beast. To get away from this beast, Babylon.
No, you ain't no mountain high enough and ain't no valley low enough to keep them off your ass.
And now they're going to the place where a lot of people want to escape to.
They fled.
It says, by ending health disparities and systemic racism, what on earth could that mean?
Negroes still doing what they did.
What you mean?
In 78, they still fleeing to Africa. Still going into Africa when they running for trouble.
Oh, yeah. The follow-up is my new recent Substack attempting to connect the dots. Now, this is written by, you might know, this is Robert Malone. This is the guy who was going against the COVID vaccine lockdowns and all that other stuff. He was the guy who invented the technology that led to the mRNA vaccine. He didn't create an mRNA vaccine. He created the technology that they used to create it. But he's been smeared and kind of attacked constantly. He said, attempting to connect the dots to the World Economic Forum and their goals for expanding their agenda in order to stick to their timeline regarding the continent of Africa, look at things this way when I think about the WEF, or World Economic Forum. Hypothetically speaking, if a gang decides to get together once a month with knives and decide under the cover of darkness to go out and slash the tires of every car parked in residential streets for a city, and the next day all the tires of every car parked in the streets have in fact been slashed, you may not be able to prove the gang did it. But if it happens enough, you might start to suspect the question, what's happening and who is responsible? After covering this for some time, I'm convinced not only does the World Economic Forum consistently tell you what they're going to do, they sure love to prepare in advance, undertake all the preparation before they implement what they are going to carry out. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said they like to tell you what they're going to do so that when they do it, they can say, we told you we were going to do it, and that means we're justified in our actions. So when they did event 20, what was it called? 202 or 201, whatever it's called, which was the COVID-19, them planning out how it's going to go. Then when they did it, you fell for it, you fell for it. That's how they feel. If you fell for it, you fell for it. At the beginning of the pandemic, we told you this. In the middle, we told you something else. If you still went along with our coverage or the narrative we pushing, then that's your fault for not keeping up. Wicked people, man.
Trust the science. Follow the science.
Follow the science. Breaking: Zelensky announced he is planning to join World Economic Forum in Davos to sign a new post-war loans with BlackRock. If you know, BlackRock is the company that's buying up every damn thing in America: land, houses,
trailer parks.
I don't know if that was BlackRock, but it probably was under a different name. But they're buying up everything. So now Zelensky is saying he's going to take out loans on BlackRock, and they're going to be the ones that build
Greater Israel.
You can call it that. They're the ones that are going to build Ukraine back up after the quote-unquote post-war. Now, what I got from this is, why is Zelensky already thinking about the loans he's going to take out after the war? He's in the middle of it. It's almost like he knows when it's going to end.
As if this is a movie.
It's almost like he already knows when this is going to end. Vladimir Zelensky and Larry Fink agreed to focus in the near term on coordinating the efforts of all potential investors and participants in the reconstructing of our country, channeling investment into the most relevant and impactful sectors of the Ukrainian economy. Keep in mind, Ukraine was voted one of the most corrupt countries on the planet of like 2014-15. They were considered, matter of fact, as recent as 2018, they were considered the most corrupt country on the planet. But yeah,
we believe it.
Ukraine eyeing bigger diplomatic footprint in Africa, President Zelensky. Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine has been trying to rally African countries to its cause as it fights off Russian full-scale invasion. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Friday that Kiev will boost its footprint in Africa next year by opening 10 new embassies and strengthening trade ties with the continent. Ukraine has been trying to rally African countries to its cause as it fights off Russia's full-scale invasion, in part by promoting a humanitarian grain initiative to help alleviate hunger in the highly vulnerable countries. Russian blockade of Ukrainian agriculture exports throughout the Black Sea has sparked global grain and fertilizer shortages early this year, endangering millions before the UN brokered deal partially eased it in July. We are overhauling relations with dozens of African countries, Zelensky told a gathering diplomats in Kiev. Next year, we need to strengthen this. They really trying to stop China from taking over Africa. When I say take over, I mean being the most influential country. Well, I guess
interesting. Yeah. He said this right after America.
Right after
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden went there and promised them $55 billion.
America's like,
can't let you go.
Can't let you go.
Zelensky, BlackRock CEO Fink agreed to coordinate Ukrainian investment. I just said that. BlackRock Financial Markets Advisory and the Ukrainian Ministry of Economy signed a memorandum of understanding in November. Zelensky and Fink agreed Wednesday, said they're going to help build up big Israel, baby. Now, I want to talk about this. Russian President Dmitry Medvedev released 2023 predictions. Oil will reach $150 per barrel, and U.S. dollar will lose its status as global reserve currency. Now, he has some predictions. This is the former president of Russia, the guy who was president right before Putin. And I think it was right before Putin, if I'm not mistaken. He has some predictions for 2023 of things that he thinks is going to happen. Now, for whatever reason, Travis is very optimistic for America, and that he don't believe these things will come true.
Not all of them.
Now, I'm gonna go through the list. It's quick.
What you mean for America? He's not just talking about America. He's talking about the EU. He's talking about other European. He's not just talking about America.
Let's go through this. Now, this man, once again, this is a former president of Russia. He said, number one, oil prices will rise to $150 a barrel, and gas price will top $5,000 per 1,000 cubic meters. I think that's possible, more than likely, if the war continues. The UK will rejoin the EU.
I don't think that's going to happen.
UK been struggling, they said.
Hell, everybody's struggling.
But they've made arguments that if they join the EU, they'll be better off.
Okay. We'll see if that happens.
The EU will collapse after the UK's return. Euro would drop out of use as the former EU currency.
So what are they going to use?
The EU currency isn't really that popular anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Matter of fact, didn't the EU currency just become the same price as something else? It became the same. What was it?
It
was a US dollar, wasn't it?
It was a US dollar.
Yeah. It said Poland and Hungary will occupy western regions of the formerly existing Ukraine. Now, we already said that a lot of people believe that western Ukraine will become part of Poland. So that's not surprising. The Fourth Reich will be created, encompassing the territory of Germany and its satellites, i.e. Poland and the Baltic states, Czechia, I don't know how to say that, Slovakia and the Kiev Republic and other outcasts. Now he's saying the Nazi right, the Fourth Reich is coming back of Nazis.
Well, it's already started in the Ukraine. I mean, not Ukraine, Yeah, Ukraine. They got a whole bunch of
Nazis there. Yeah.
Nazis there.
Number 6, war will break out between France and the Fourth Reich. Europe will be divided. Poland repartitioned in the process. Number 7, Northern Ireland will separate from the UK and join the Republic of Ireland. That probably is the most. That could actually happen. They hate the British. Number 8, civil war will break out in the U.S., California, and Texas, becoming independent states as a result. Texas and Mexico will form an allied state. Elon Musk will win the presidential election in a number of states, which, after the new civil war's end, will have been given to the GOP.
Is this Jericho he talking about?
It sounds like Jericho. If I ever saw that show Jericho, that's exactly what happened.
Texas was
It became
that's
its own
where it was
country.
at the end of the show.
Well, what happened is, well, I ain't gonna tell the story if you ain't seen it, but
Tell the story.
it led to it was a war, a nuclear war. It led to people separating, becoming their own individual countries. Texas became their own country. They didn't want to go back into the fold with the rest of America, and that led to another war. Huh?
It was 2 presidents.
Yeah, with 2 presidents, and they ended up going to war inside the country to try to bring the country back together.
But Texas was definitely one of the states.
Now,
They ain't saying nothing about California.
is it possible that we see a civil war?
Well, you know, they've been talking about a civil war, the Republican states versus the Democratic states, pretty much.
We just saw.
Matter of fact,
was that not Utah? Is it? Yes, Utah.
they had
Go ahead.
they have a map.
Mm-hmm.
They shown which states would be the Republican states, which states would be the Democratic, and how the war and all that.
It was Oregon that said they wanted to join. Was it Utah?
Yeah, next to them, Utah.
So you had a bulk of Oregon, which is the Democratic blue state, saying they want to join Utah, which is the red state.
No, well, the bulk of the state is Republican.
That's what I'm saying. The bulk of the people in Oregon wanted to leave Oregon as a counties and stuff and join the next state, Utah.
They're like you got 40 counties out of 50 that are voting Republican, but because of the
population so high, they win elections.
Bigger in the cities, like in Atlanta, Fulton County, those other big counties, they come in and tell you pretty much who is going to be the candidate for that state.
And it's like our vote don't even, because it's not that many of us in each county.
Just like California, like we've said plenty of times, if it was based on who would win the president, they would pretty much.
They would dictate who the president is every 4 years.
In New York, them two combined,
they would win every
election.
They would win every election. So I don't know. We might see one. Number 9, all the largest stock markets with financial activity will leave the U.S. and Europe and move to Asia. That's already happening. Companies already have started leaving. Underneath
he didn't
Trump,
say China. He said Asia.
Well, what do you call it? What's that place? The one they fighting over right now?
Taiwan?
Taiwan is one of the places. That's why China.
Maybe that's why Taiwan. That's why they're trying to take over Taiwan, because they know it's going to be
there's going to be money pooled there.
And the U.S. is like, no, you can't have Taiwan.
Now, underneath Trump was trying to act like he was trying to bring companies from China to America. That's why he put those sanctions on the products.
He wasn't trying. He was trying to make America be the number one.
And last but not least, the Bretton Woods system of monetary management will collapse, leading to the IMF and World Bank crash. Euro and dollar will stop circulating as a global reserve currencies. Digital fiat currencies will be actively used instead.
So what I hear him saying is what we've been saying for the past 3-4 months. It's going to be 2 different.
It's going to be more than 2.
It's going to be a couple divided places based on where you at is where it's going to be considered what you use for money.
Yeah. So the West will have its own. And then the East will have its own, and you have some southern equator countries.
But that's not creating one world order.
Well, I think that's why they said there's a new world order. We're past the new world order. They couldn't get that done fast enough. It's too many people. You got to lower the population before you can do that.
That's why they're coming out with all these damn pandemics.
Exactly.
They're trying to thin out the hood.
In this last article, I'm going to show how the East is starting to consolidate together. Putin expects China's Xi to visit soon. Xi holds his line on Ukraine. So while Putin is trying to convince Xi Jinping to join him, China's trying to keep a neutral stance, be an ally of Russia, but keep a neutral stance on the situation with Ukraine?
They backstabbers.
You think China is?
Hell yeah.
You think they're just waiting for them to go to war, get blown apart, and then come in and collect the reserve?
Exactly. That's what they do. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Regina, see, I'm glad. Pele died.
Who?
They call it football. In America, we call it soccer superstar. Pele. He died at 82.
Wow.
That's your number 3. I forgot. He was their version. He was as famous as Muhammad Ali in his prime. Maybe even more. He was more famous than Muhammad Ali in the world. I forgot. That's the 3rd person. There you 3. Pele, Barbara Walters, and Pope Benedict.
Okay.
All right. We consider certain parts of DMV. I'm from Southeast DC. Certain parts of Virginia. See, certain parts of Virginia. See, Virginia. All right. Keeper said I have to catch the replay. Be safe. All right.
She's probably gone by now.
Yeah, she probably. Have a good one.
I gotta go.
Ukraine got paid handsomely for the telephone call, allegedly. Congo just signed a deal with the U.S. to buy their cobalt. Was it Zimbabwe just ended their deal to get rid of their what's the top of the L? Lithium, I think.
Lithium.
Zimbabwe just made it where they're not giving away their lithium. They're gonna only do deals with China for a certain type of resource. So
China.
They're trying to get more money out of their own product, trying to make them build it up themselves. All right, family. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all in the new year. Much love. All right, Brandon. That's going to be it for us anyway. We've discussed a lot of stuff. Glad y'all stayed this long.
I'm surprised they did because we know they're ready to get out and go.
Oh, yeah. It's New Year's.
Hit the streets. I catch the replay later. I got to go.
You got last words you want to say? Anything you want to say?
Thanks for viewing the channel. And thanks for the support.
Yeah, man. Y'all be safe. Please like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to like it on your way out. Really appreciate the support. Yeah, man. Y'all be safe. All praise to the Most High. And peace, man.